All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grime Fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, an old schoolhouse that could become a death trap.
Chlorine gas would render you unconscious straight away.
A rootle in some rubbish produces rapid results.
This is evidence we've just found belonging to the property.
And a blood-stained police van gets a workover from Grime Fighter Ben.
Occasionally you get like a stubborn bit.
But first, in Grimsby, it's back to school with a difference. This Victorian institution has seen happier days. And for the Sheriff, John Waite, it's not exactly a school reunion.
Originally it was a boys' school. John Hurt, the actor, attended this school at some time during his earlier years.
The school children have long since gone. Now it's become a home for squatters and a fire risk.
The fire service, who will be down shortly, want to be sure that this building and the main building is clear of any rubbish or flammable material.
It's been boarded up to keep people out, but that's just an inconvenience for John and his team. Ready, steady, go.
I shall be much happier once we know what's actually in the building. Here we go. This has been the scene of a fire in recent times. You can see the charred results.
John immediately identifies a fire risk.
The sort of thing we're looking to get rid of today are these settees. Now, I doubt very much if either of these pieces of furniture comply with any current fire regulations. Now, just one of these on their own would cause so much in the way of toxic fumes it would be impossible to come in here without breathing apparatus.
There are signs that squatters have been here.
Pretty messy through here. This was actually an area that people were living in until quite recently. I think they liked a lot of oil in their cooking. Not very healthy. That's the problem with buildings like this. They attract people like magnets.
It looks like the squatters have gone, but then John goes upstairs. Clearly somebody is in residence.
There's no electricity here, no water now. It's cold enough as we're stood in here now, so what it must be like at night, I just don't know.
John pieces together the clues.
Certainly looking at the dates on the magazines and bits and pieces, it is within recent days that someone's been here. We've even put a little plaque up on the wall.
It's obvious that the squatter doesn't get out much.
They've also got a very vivid imagination. We've got a video, remote control, but unfortunately no TV, just a picture or a cutout of a TV stuck to the wall.
An imaginary TV, and it seems an imaginary toilet.
The toilet's non-existent, so we have found it's as if it's like a regulatory requirement to have a bottle of urine in places like this. It's actually quite tidy in here, but so whoever this person is at least they're trying to look after themselves.
Sadly, all the squatters' inventiveness turns out to be wasted.
John's told us what needs to be removed, and we'll get in there and remove it all.
Blood and crime often go together, but who cleans up afterwards? Ben Jars, a businessman turned grime fighter, saw a gap in the market, and he became an expert in crime scene cleaning.
Down in Haverfordwest in West Wales, so there's we do a lot of work for them here, do all their police cells and their vehicles when they're contaminated. Today we've got a police vehicle that someone's obviously been arrested in, and there's blood in the back of the vehicle. We're just going to clean up the blood, sanitise it, so they can get it back on the fleet and use it again.
This is our old friend, the deep clean, but it starts from the outside.
Open the doors, again, it's exactly the same here, just where people have had their hands.
Ben's task is to return the vehicle to its pristine state. He's meticulous.
So again here, now the prisoner's been in here, so we can see obviously we've got blood spatters, and we've got where people have been standing in it.
Ben doesn't know how or why the blood got here. It's wise to assume the worst.
If we tried to ask whether the person had any bloodborne pathogen like hepatitis or HIV or MRSA, they wouldn't tell us anyway because of the data protection. So you just treat everything as if it's a worst case scenario. But that's why we use that disinfectant. It's mainly to protect us, not only to sanitize the cell in the back of the vehicle. Again, exactly the same technique, just spray down.
Ben's using 429, an industrial strength disinfectant which kills HIV, hepatitis, E. coli, MRSA and swine flu.
Just want to work our way in so we know that everything in front of us is nice and clean. Occasionally you get like a stubborn bit.
Nowadays, everyone is much more aware of the potential dangers, and Ben fully accepts the responsibilities of his job.
If now another prisoner was to come in here, and it turns out that the prisoner of the day before had something like hepatitis B, and someone else got in here with cuts and abrasions, and they were to contract hepatitis B, it would be our fault. I'll respray all of this just to make sure I've sanitized it all correctly, because if we put anything that's hazardous into waste, it can't go into landfill.
One last wipe and the van looks spotless. But for Ben, looking spotless isn't enough.
We use this machine here, which is called an ATP machine. It's quite simple, really. You snap the top of the swab stick. We then take the swab stick out. We just take a simple area that we've cleaned to pick up what readings we can on it. Then we put that back in its case. Open up the ATP machine. Press OK. The light readings come back as 0, so it's given us a tick, it's a pass, so we know we've cleaned all the bacteria from that surface.
There's more of this kind of work than Ben alone can handle, and he's now set up a training academy for cleaning crime scenes. In Grimsby, Darren and his team are clearing a path from the squatters' digs to the rubbish lorry.
Obviously somebody's living here, and there's definitely signs of it. I presume they've been here for a while, and I'm not quite sure. It's a shame, but it's got to go.
It may seem harsh, but squatters' rights are in practice quite limited. Darren is impressed by what the squatter has achieved.
Could you get a living room, bedroom and kitchen in this area? I think he's done well.
It's the end for someone's home. For the Grime fighters, the work isn't so much about people, it's the variety they like.
I think there's something different every day kind of thing job. Just what I need for my sandwiches. It's empty. Tick and paste.
Grime fighters have different skills.
As long as you give Sean the sledgehammer, get a door open, help like that, he'll just get straight in there.
The squat is no longer a squat, and Darren intends to keep it that way.
Get it boarded up, get it secure, and just make sure nobody can get in.
Since Ben opened his Academy of Crime Scene Cleaners, he hasn't looked back. The demand for these skills is big and getting bigger. But crime scene cleaning is not every grime fighter's dream. It can be unpleasant. It can be dangerous. It can be difficult.
We teach them how to proactively pick up work in their area, from cleaning up police cells, police vehicles, hypodermic needle collection, body fluids, blood, feces, urine, vomit, depending on what they're going to come across.
And today's class is about the grim business of grime fighting at the sharp end. First, what's the correct way to tackle infected needles?
There's a situation where there's been vagrants and they've come into the property and they've got no regard for the property or themselves, and so there will be needles all over the place. What's your method for this now?
Sanitise as you disinfect as you go.
Yeah.
So as you're constantly working into an area, and you're not missing anything.
Okay, so you know the technique that you need to follow.
And blood. There's always an awful lot of blood. It's tricky stuff.
This scenario here, there's obviously been blood loss. It could be anything to a murder, could be down to a suicide, could be down to just someone hemorrhaging. So, your method?
The main principle is we'll cut out and remove anything we can.
Right.
After sanitising it.
After sanitising it, yeah.
The problem about blood is that it's hard to get rid of. It gets everywhere.
Now, before that goes into there, okay, what would you also need to sanitise on it? Yeah, the back of it. If you're unsure that you can sanitise it, it's got to be yellow bagged, okay?
The methods may look simple enough, but it's easy to make mistakes.
Okay, by moving it, you slightly tipped it. And it's gone on the floor. Okay, so we've now cross-contaminated another area. Okay, so now what would you do now?
Sanitise.
Sanitise it.
The expert crime scene cleaner is determined. It's all about attention to detail.
If you're not taught how to do it properly and systematically right from the start, you're then creating a risk for yourself and the population.
Have you had a brief look at floor number 2? Can we try the powder as well on that?
Go around the edge first to stop it spreading anywhere else.
Okay.
The gel solidifies liquids that have spilt, including blood, and draws the fluids out of materials.
Just move it to one side if we can.
But it must be handled with great care.
I don't know whether everyone can see, but what's happened with the grout at the back? It's stained. Was it stained before? No, so we've actually spread a stain. If you spread staining about, you're just going to create more work for yourself. No, it's not dangerous, so you can...
Around 120 students will finish training this year, and they should be ready for the workplace.
As soon as they've completed the course, we can then safely pass work on to them, and they can pick up their own work as well.
One way or another.
Coming up, when the fire brigade arrives at the Grimsby school, there's unwelcome news.
We all know the dangers of asbestos.
There's daring do in Dagenham when the lads find a bin full of problems.
What's that, sick?
And it's a case for the Ladies Detective Agency.
Then fly tipping is a serious issue in this borough.
Up and down the land, a little-known army of dedicated professionals are devoted to battling an ever-advancing tide of grime. Back at the old Grimsby school, the sheriff has brought the fire brigade to help assess the safety risk. This was once a swimming pool. Now it's a health hazard.
There's a typical example of a risk. If this is totally smoke logged in this area, then as you can just see down there, it's full of water. The risk for us there straight away is falling down them stairs, stepping through that doorway. There's a good sign for us anyway, warning us what's in there. Chlorine gas would render you unconscious straight away.
And a lift shaft is revealed as a potential danger.
A lot of these tins, as you can see, they're all rusty. It doesn't really tell you what's in them. But for example there, straight away, just me seeing that's got an X on it and an orange band round it, and that actually says irritant on it. Yep. So that's obviously a problem.
There's worse to come when a very real hazard is exposed.
Obviously part of the ceiling now, a lot of old buildings tend to have bits of asbestos. Obviously we all know the dangers of asbestos. It's another hazard that obviously we need to be aware of.
Asbestos can cause a chronic and often fatal lung disease.
It's just worrying to think how many people have been exposed to it in the building over the years.
Asbestos is falling from the ceiling, and Fire Officer Nigel Smith is worried about the structure of the building.
As an officer in charge for me, I would be more than reluctant to send anybody on that first floor. Just looking at the condition of them, how they're rotten, they're bowed, they're all dipping.
There is a danger of arson. If this happens, and the building catches fire, Nigel will at least know the layout.
Immediately if you have a look there, that floor's gone. See how the floor dips? And that's directly under where we was. I wouldn't commit anybody into this area at all. That wouldn't sustain a lot of weight before you'd go down there. Anyway, just mind this pigeon. This is all pigeon feces.
It's not even a place for pigeons.
Because all the roofs are open, pigeons are going to come in, and that's where they come. These will be youngsters, I would imagine, that haven't been able to get out.
There's more work here than John's extreme clean team can handle today. They'll be back tomorrow, and in the meantime, they want to make the place safe.
In the next few days, all of this boarding will be replaced by steel sheeting, and that'll prove much more effective as a deterrent to anyone trying to get into the building.
John hopes these measures will be enough to deter any possible squatters. In Dagenham, the war against fly tipping continues. It's a never-ending story. Street wardens Lorraine and Eileen know the score. If they can find a culprit, they have the power to issue a fine.
Quite a good one. Yeah. So, well, as you can see, we've come across a fly tip in the council alley, which we're going to search, see if we find any evidence.
A quick rummage soon proves rewarding.
This is domestic, yeah.
But the evidence is conflicting.
It's a completely different area.
That's strange.
They have to dig deep to solve the mystery.
It's like trade waste because it's all plastic.
It comes from that shop.
Lorraine has discovered the origin of some of the
There must
rubbish.
be at least 20 receipts in the bottom there. Before I'd even got that far, I realised what shop it had actually come from because some of the labelling on the boxes.
Rest in this one, look. This is evidence we've just found belonging to the property that is outside.
With the fly.
It's come from a nearby shop. The official procedure now gets underway. Proof is required.
We have to take a photo in situ, so it has to be with the fly tip.
When we find trade waste, we then go into the shop where we think it's come from and check see if they have a trade waste agreement.
Sounds a bit serious, but then fly tipping is a serious issue in this borough.
It looks like an open and shut case. Eileen and Lorraine pay a visit to the shop. Another 2 Dagenham Street wardens are responding to a distress call nearby. Rob and Rob are on the trail.
Apparently the bins haven't been collected for a little while, so just come and have a look. Yeah, they are quite bad, so we're going to get them taken away. Smell a bit fishy.
While Rob visits the resident who complained, the other Rob tries to solve the problem.
This might have been a miscollection for whatever reason. No idea really.
They just went there, drove away, which was the same as when I rang up.
Unbelievable.
It just goes on and on.
It seems the bins in this block have been missed off in the rounds.
I'll speak to the cleansing crews and the managers. We'll get it chased up here, but they're going to be cleared now.
Rob will ensure the bin men will be back next week.
There's 6 weeks worth of waste down there. It's starting to kick up and it's starting to smell. Part of my job now is I'll go back and speak to the managers that are responsible for this, make them aware that the bin crews are leaving them for 6 weeks.
But there's a food spillage that can't be ignored.
What's that?
Time for an expert analysis.
No, I'm not going to do the taste test, so I'd say it was some kind of food, but I wouldn't like to say what.
Yet again, Rob and Rob ride to the rescue.
Smell's gone, job done. Lovely. Okay, no problem. Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Meanwhile, Eileen and Lorraine are on the fly tippers trail. They don't have to walk far to find a suspect.
Every business in the borough has a duty of care to get rid of their trade waste.
The owner is quick to make excuses.
Yes, but we have no container because in last 3 months 3 containers is stolen.
Right, so that's you need a Euro bin then?
Yeah, okay. That's why we are waiting for another new one. But when it's come, we don't know.
I need to see your trade waste agreement. I do need to see the agreement.
The owner can't provide the relevant documents.
This one actually ran out on 21st of March. Have you another one?
It seems the owner's waste permission has expired.
If you can actually find the new agreement, then we'll come back and check tomorrow and see if we find that, and we'll sort out another Euro bin. If you have another contract, if you don't have another contract, we'll have to arrange one. Yeah, very quickly.
Okay, thank you.
You have to handle it like that. It's no good going in heavy-handed, as you can see. It wouldn't have helped. But hopefully when we come back tomorrow, she will have a trade waste agreement in place.
The lady did say that she has got another one somewhere, but whether she's telling us the truth or not, we don't know, but we'll find out when we get back to the office.
The clean team arrives in the alley. Their mission is not impossible, and the mood lightens.
More work for me?
Yeah,
more work for me?
another one for you.
Yeah.
They never know what they may find on a job like this.
Mind you, it ain't the first time we was called out before and there was all rotten fish down here.
Today, it's the contents of a kitchen.
Yeah, we can have Chinese we can have with me. Look, we've got the cook.
And this one.
But for Grime fighters, where there's rubbish, there's reward.
Keeps me in a job, doesn't it?
Photos, photos. Everyone takes photos nowadays.
I know where you're going to pin them. You're going to pin them in your office, aren't you? You know you do.
The lads have done their bit, and the ladies look to the future.
Right, that's it now. Job done. Bit of lunch and then out again before it gets too dark.
Since filming the show, the Dagenham shop owner has a licence and now has brand new bins. The asbestos and chemicals have been safely removed from the Victorian school and the building has been cleared. And at crime scenes up and down the land, the class of 2009 are wiping the slate clean. All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grime fighters. In our programme tonight, Grime meets crime on Saturday evening. We follow Council Officer Mitch as he wages war on the illegal hot dog salesman in London's West End.
It's filth, it's disgusting, and people are paying good money for this.
News of another sting of a different sort, Dagenham Pete comes face to face with a wasp's nest.
I've just been stung again.
And there's some rather posh grime at a stately home in Middlesex.
Quite grubby, isn't it?
Saturday night is party night in the capital of booze. When the pubbers and clubbers pour out onto the streets of London, there's a hidden danger in the food they may eat. Some street vendors are licensed and are subject to strict health and safety legislation, but many are not. Selling hot dogs illegally doesn't matter? Yes, it does. The man in charge of stopping the dodgy dealers is Westminster Inspector Mitch Matthews Dublin.
Our offices are situated just over Leicester Square. I can tell that we've got one or two spotters outside our building. These are characters that work along with illegal street traders, and they come to watch us preparing so that they can see how many officers are on duty. So that means that we're going to have a lot of hot dogs trolleys out there tonight, and looks like there's going to be a lot of fun and games.
Mitch is about to engage in an extraordinary game of cat and mouse. Some rogue rickshaw drivers are involved. They're used as spotters, helping Mr. Hot Dog to stay one step ahead of Mitch and his team. In Piccadilly, Mitch spots the spotters spotting him.
There you go. What they're doing now is they're actually blending into the crowd now. The one down there on the guy on the phone, he's known to us as an illegal street trader.
But that's the game. It means the mice have come out to play, and Mitch knows where to look.
Westminster being a very old part of Britain, of the UK, and this has been having a medieval layout. Actually, if we sneak around here, you'll find we've got a hot dog trolley. Come and take a look at this. Is this your trolley?
It's not my trolley, it's my friend's trolley, isn't it?
So is this your trolley?
It's not my trolley, it's my friend's trolley.
Okay, and who's your friend?
Mr. Hot Dog doesn't work on his own.
Is he?
The trolleys are all put onto the street from a single van.
November 2 to all city inspectors. Can you come down to Apple Tree Yard?
The trolley will have to be removed. The culprit won't only lose it,
Jesus Christ!
he may have to pay his boss £50 in compensation.
Where are you going?
I'm going, it's not mine, isn't it?
When Mitch takes over a trolley, he makes it safe.
It's got a gas canister inside it. And as you can see exactly what's going on here. Boxes of half-cooked sausages.
It looks horrible, and it is horrible.
Loads of bacteria growing on this. You can imagine anything that's been sitting around for hours, any meat item, it's going to have bacteria. You're going to have issues like staphylococcus, salmonella, all sorts of bacteria. It's filth, it's disgusting, and people are paying good money for this. Another reason why we have to be concerned, they use these knives to cut the onions up, yeah, but they also use these knives as weapons to protect themselves, their money and their trolleys.
The cat has already caught a mouse, and there are still hours to go. In Dagenham, the householder's distress call means an unexpected and risky challenge for pest controller Pete.
Getting late in the evening now, but we had to leave this one a bit late. We're doing a wasp nest. It's very rare to get them this time of year. Usually they've died out and the females all gone somewhere to hibernate, but this one's really active.
We're having to keep the bedroom window closed all the time. I noticed them coming off the roof and near the gutter and then going in, and there were so many of them. My son-in-law tried to put a bit of filler actually to stop them getting in, but because there were so many of them trying to get in, it was a bit dodgy and he'd get stung. So he did his best, but it didn't seal him off.
But Pete is a professional.
It's down to me. If anyone's going to get stung, it's going to be me who's going to get stung, and it's most probably down to my stupidity. So if I take the precautions right and measures right, I shouldn't get stung.
The wasp's nest is in the loft. The trouble is, they still think it's summer, and they're still very much ready for action.
As you can see the size of the wasp here, it's a female. The workers are half the size of these. They pack more venom and more sting. Apart from that, they all hurt, regardless if they're big or small.
Pete has the advantage of surprise, for now.
Getting a bit leery now, the wasps, they're all going to be on us in a minute, and I've just been stung on the leg, and that hurts. I'm going to isolate the nest with just ordinary pyrethrum spray. This has stopped the wasps when if they do come out, they'll just stay back hopefully in the nest. Right, so now I'll get me D5, this will kill them. Wipe them right out. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a little incision.
Rather him than me.
I can feel the wasp in there now. So what I'm going to do is then fill the hole up with fire cam. I'm also going to put one at the bottom here. Well, the actual fire cam's in there, and what's it doing? It just I don't know. It just literally mullers them. They just can't stand it. There's one there coming out with fire cam all on him. Look, and you see, look how it's reacting. Look, it's not really happy, is it? Okay. Basically, it takes about 2 hours for the fire camp to work in the nest and kill them all outright.
But Pete wants to remove the nest straight away.
It could go wrong. Everything can go wrong. You know, it could be. I could pull the nest a little bit and it'll break somewhere, and then they'll all come out at me. So I've got to be a bit careful. Okay, what I'm going to do is whack that over like that.
It's often said a wasp's sting in winter is more powerful.
I've just been stung again.
Despite being stung twice, Pete gets the nest into the bag.
Leave that there a minute. As you see, what with the spray I put in there as well, they're sort of going a bit mental in there, buzzing around.
For Pete, just another victory.
You're going to be one happy bunny now. The wasps are all in there, you can see the size of it. Oh. In there. So I'll see you next year for another one.
Oh, I hope not.
Thanks to Pete, one Dagenham family can get back to normal.
I can leave my windows open there.
And leave Pete to examine his prize.
It's amazing. It's all done on segments. Look, as you can see, look, there's like little joins there which holds it together.
Now he makes a surprising discovery.
You actually see that we've still got some more grubs to hatch out, as you can see here. which is really amazing for this time of year. They're going on about the ice cap melting and all that. Well, I mean, I know nothing about all that. I'm no scientist, but I know that all the insects this year has been going on longer than it has done the last few years we've been doing pest control. Get that put away, get ready to be incinerated.
The future for the planet may look bleak, but not for Pete. He's off home. In London, Mitch is back on the trail of Mr. Hot Dog. It's a big business with some big characters.
As long as they're not trading, if they're focused on us, they're not trading, brilliant. And he's known to us. Hello, Miss.
Hello, how are you? All right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing nothing, man.
He's not doing anything. Are you going to be trading tonight?
No, I'm not working, man.
You're not working,
I'm not working. It's
Yeah?
very hot.
But you're just partying tonight, are you?
Yeah, I didn't work last night, I didn't work tonight, you know.
But you're going to work, you didn't work last night, that's right, and you're not going to work tonight, are you?
Yeah, I'm not working tonight.
Okay, maybe you might want to tell some of your friends not to work as well.
No, because 4 teams tonight, I can work.
4 teams, is it? 3 now though, eh?
Yeah.
This is the cat and mouse game that we play. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't see any issue with his activities here. You're waiting for?
New Year's evening.
You're waiting for New Year's evening? Yeah. Not in Westminster, you're not?
Which channel is that?
You know you can't get one over on us. Yeah. We're watching you all the time.
You're watching, everybody watching, following that. That's it. You know?
Take care. We'll see you later on. He's lost a lot of face right now.
But this isn't the moment for a chat. Mitch has received a call from one of his inspectors who's found another unlicensed food trolley.
We've got another one already, so excellent.
Just take a step
away. Yeah? Just get away from the van. Step away from the van. Move away. Move away.
The trouble is, they do not have work permits and are getting desperate.
Yeah, we want to make money. What job? Yeah, give me the paper to work. Give me the paper to work. I'm not allowed to work. Give me the paper to work.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to work in this country. Give me
the reason why you're not allowed to work.
The men come mostly from Turkey, and many of them are illegal immigrants.
We've got these aggressive little characters, yeah, but we're going to grind them down slowly but surely. They shouldn't be operating on the street like this. They are extremely desperate, they are being exploited, but desperate people take desperate measures, and you can see how threatening they are, yeah? So, perfect. We'll move on to the next one now in Covent Garden. We've just had a heads up about that one, and the team have gone off, and hopefully within the next few minutes we should have that trolley as well.
In Essex, there are some fly tippers who are even prepared to break into garages. And this is something that Rob and Jules are not prepared to put up with.
Having no trade waste agreement is a £300 fine. We've got to get the evidence first. We can't do anything if we haven't got the evidence.
Whoever dumped this waste probably charged money to remove it and has made a clear profit.
I'm quite surprised that people haven't tried to set it alight. Chuck a match in there and it will go up like you wouldn't believe, and then that goes up. We don't know if people storing cars in some of these. If this one goes, it'll probably take the rest of them with them.
And this is a rich haul. A lot of rubbish, a lot of money.
I live on the borough, so I don't want this on my borough. Yeah, I feel quite passionate about it, yeah.
And it's the same story in the next garage.
You've got another fly tip here, different sorts of waste, rubble, Christmas tree.
And also in the next garage too.
It looks like house clearance. There's sofas, chairs, duvets, but there's a bit of garden waste, tyres. Unbelievable, some people. Absolutely unbelievable.
These garages are a potential fire risk. There's no time to lose.
We can't go troopsing in there because we'll end up hurting ourselves. So we'll wait for the clean-up team to get here, and hopefully they can get some more of this on the wagon and we can get some more evidence. Fingers crossed.
Coming up, a rubbish-filled garage turns out to be a health hazard.
That's why we go through the rubbish and don't just yank it all out, because there might be stuff like that in it.
A posh house turns out to be rich in dust.
If you get two people in the pub talking about dust, you can bet your life they work for the National Trust.
And Mitch, the cat after the mice, is still on the prowl.
One of the spotters is in the piazza, so we don't think he's far away.
Up and down the land, a little-known army of dedicated professionals are devoted to battling an ever-advancing tide of grime. Back at the rubbish-filled Essex garages, Rob and his council team are hard at work.
Any toxic materials noted or...? We don't know yet. We can only see what's at the front, so we've got no idea. This is a priority because of the wood.
Okay,
Don't want it to go up.
Certainly.
It'll be a matter of cleaning with care.
It's quite obviously general commercial waste. We're going to see if we can find some evidence in here as well. I know there's black bags and things, so my guys will cut those open as we're working.
Jules wants to know who's responsible.
It doesn't look at this time as though we've got any evidence. You know, as you can see, this is all burnt out stuff. So I'm not actually going to get anything from that.
It looks like a professional job. The clean team are well aware of the dangers.
You never know what you're going to find. Got needle gloves on, so obviously we can't get hooked by them. And also looking for, you know, with builder's waste, looking to see if there's anything that looks anything remotely like asbestos or anything like that. But not finding any so far. It's the bathroom. That's sort of as you pull away, more seems to appear.
As trained investigators, they look for clues.
I think this is probably from a fish and chip shop or something, because this is a company locally that supplies potatoes. There's something else here which is from a food company in London. This bag I'm opening here, it would appear that we have got some paperwork in it. And we've got a couple of addresses here.
Obviously, we have to collate as much information as we possibly can to secure the prosecution, but everything like this, it all looks good.
Things are looking up. For some.
He can't stay on his feet, he always falls over.
Right at the bottom now.
There's a lot of rain and a lot of rubbish, but not enough to dampen their spirits.
When it's days like this, you need to have a good working spirit, and we all have. We work together closely.
Back to work, and the discovery they were dreading.
Right, there's some boarding in there which looks as though it is potentially asbestos insulation board, which is notifiable asbestos, and that is something that we do not work with. We'll be walking away from that.
Asbestos is a potential killer. The dust is blamed for 4,000 deaths each year in the UK.
That's why we go through the rubbish and don't just yank it all out, because there might be stuff like that in there. As soon as we see it, you know, we have to decide what needs to be done.
They've made a good start, but the rest will have to wait. Rob believes he's got enough evidence now to catch the culprits.
There's a lot of parking tickets and stuff like that, loads of different addresses and stuff, so we'll obviously do some investigations and track them down. There's phone numbers here, there's a lot of personal details and stuff like that, so there'll be a lot of investigations, but it's all good. More than happy with that.
Grime affects us all. You get ordinary grime and posh grime. Osterley Park in West London is a magnificent stately home with an interior designed by the great British architect Robert Adam. Now preserved for the nation by the National Trust, it's the job of house steward Alan to look after the place. It helps with a job like this if you have passion for the task, and Alan certainly has that.
We've got this beautiful floor. I've had architects who've come around the house and they've said, you know, it must have been a mathematical genius who arranged these stones and cut them and fitted them all. It really is superb. All the white spots add up to 52 for the weeks in the year, and there's 12 columns outside for the months, and they do tell me there's 365 windows, but I've never counted them.
One of Alan's favourite chores is cleaning the antique oil lamps.
Tell us when you're ready. This is one of the Robert Adam lanterns. They were designed by Robert Adam for this very purpose, for being here, hanging here on the stairs. A date from about, I would think, somewhere around 1775. When you first start, yeah, you're frightened to death of these things. Lovely.
Robert Adam designed the lamps, but it was only a sideline.
Robert Adams famous for his fireplaces, and this is probably one of the biggest Robert Adam fireplaces. This fireplace is 6'2" by 7'9", I believe.
There's no point in being too grand in a stately home. You've got to get down on your hands and knees.
Most of my life was spent at Heathrow Airport working as a building maintenance engineer. And I never dreamed I'd end up somewhere like this. Always been interested in history and antiques, things like that.
It's grime fighting, but of a superior sort, calling for special ingredients.
Just a 50-50 mixture of white spirit and water with just a dash of washing up liquid in it. And, I mean, it really does the trick. Yeah, you can see the amount of dirt that's coming off of there. Quite grubby, isn't it? Another one of Robert Adams' masterpieces. After it was completed and the bed was in place, Robert Adam came to give Robert Child the bill, which he wrote him out a cheque for. And there was a fire blazing in the half down there, and he threw the receipt straight into the fire so no one would know how much he'd ever paid for the bed.
Dust to dust, but not if Alan gets his way.
If you get two people in the pub talking about dust, you can bet your life they could work for the National Trust. It is a bit of an obsession with us. Where the dust wasn't cleaned off for many, many years, back in history sometime, possibly Victorian times, it's kind of spiky. And if you rub a duster over it, you're going to push it in, and it becomes sort of encrusted in there. And then there's no way you'll get this gilding back without re-gilding it, because the dust has been, over the years, left to bed itself in.
Alan sees himself as just one of a long line of grime fighters.
But it's a great privilege. It really is. It's a great privilege to be working in and looking after the place. You know, this has been handed on for generations and generations. You do your bit, you look after it for as long as I can, and then pass it on to the next generation. I guess that's how it's gone over and over and over. It's a great privilege to be allowed to look after it for whatever time I've got here.
Back in London, Covent Garden, it's 3 a.m. and Mitch is on the scent of more dangerous hot dogs.
One of the spotters is in the piazza, so we don't think he's far away, but Camden is only a matter of metres, so for them to get over to Camden is an easy feat, and we have no jurisdiction inside Camden.
As Mitch and his team move in, spotters tip off the hot dog trader, who makes a run for it, abandoning his trolley.
Okay, I need a bear code November 7. That's Kasim Sen again. On Muscle Street. I believe that his spotters might have seen us. He decided to hide, and we decided to flush him out.
It's been damp and dismal, but Mitch feels triumphant.
We've taken 3 trolleys already. This is absolutely fantastic from our point of view. There's nothing better than seeing the people that are coming to Westminster, enjoying themselves and going home safely, and seeing the society you live in clean and tidy.
Since filming the show, the fly-tipped garages in Essex have been cleared of asbestos by a special team, and the hot dog wars are still simmering. 5 new inspectors have joined Mitch's team, and they've picked up many more trolleys, a dirty dozen. All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the grime fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, at last on television, a house full of televisions. Pete triumphs, but only after a struggle.
The floor just got up and just moved.
Jackie the inspector is back, as keen as ever.
I'm going to find them.
And Lou the litter picker lights up Wolverhampton.
Big round of applause, please, from Lou.
But first, in Dagenham, a house that's been recently vacated but has not been emptied. The council has to make sure that a new tenant can move in, and the task falls to Tony Macy.
Another one with delights inside, I suppose, that we've got to clear out and refurbish the property. Well, another one full up with stuff.
The previous tenants didn't seem to hang around to say goodbye.
televisions stuck everywhere, old cupboards. Just makes me wonder why nobody takes anything away with them.
All this must once have been of value to someone, but not anymore.
Looking round, there's probably not a lot that you'd want to take, but at the end of the day, somebody's possessions and they've been living with it. Just seems strange that they want to leave it all.
Most people agree having a telly is essential, but how many do you need?
Looks like he was a bit of a television buff.
Well, that's enough for the time being.
I'll have a little look in the kitchen now. It's just totally trashed. It's filthy, the floor coverings are filthy. They're using an old table that's absolutely chipped and cut to bits. I mean, I just couldn't live like it.
It's always a case of what's really valuable. Take doors.
In this borough, we seem to have a black hole where doors disappear. For some unknown reason, nobody wants a door on. I've been to loads of properties, you don't find a door in the house. And the bathroom's right next door. This one was obviously going to go in the black hole because it's hanging off. They just haven't got time to take it off and get rid of it.
Stairs are a different matter. Remove these and the house might fall down.
Right, we'll have a look in the master bedroom. Things get worse. This is jam full of stuff again. Another 2 televisions.
No surprise here.
Absolutely smashed to pieces. Bedroom 2. This looks like an older child's bedroom. Now we can see why we've got so many tellies. There was obviously a DVD fan. Cupboard doors have disappeared in this room. It's just beyond belief why people just want to remove doors all the time. I can't see the purpose. So I suppose we better have a look at bedroom 3 and see if that one's any worse. Obviously the door's off, that was going somewhere. 2 more televisions. So I think we've now got a total of, I think there's about 7 televisions. They're all old, they're all no good. There's a lot of signs of children here as well, so it was probably a family that were in here.
So why did they suddenly drop everything and leave?
It could be hundreds of different reasons. A lot of it is family break-up. So if you can get to the source of it and try and stop it before it happens, we get a lot more properties that are in better condition. And we don't have to spend so much money and do so much work.
Every cockroach must have a mother. Somebody must love them. But really, they are a menace in a home. Not only as a serious health hazard, they don't supply any of the natural fragrance we're all seeking. Put it another way, they smell. And what's the answer? We know the answer. Pest Controller Pete.
All right. Hello. Pest control, mate. This is a revisit I'm doing on cockroaches. I've had a little look through the hallway as I come through and I'm pretty pleased with what I've done at the moment. They were up the walls, round the back. When I pulled the fridge out, the floor just got up and just moved. So I've had to treat it really, really hard.
Cockroaches are highly resilient and breed rapidly.
If you look down here, we've got a female here. If I just get hold of it. It's semi-alive. You can actually see the egg case on the back of her. You usually get about 30 to 40 babies in one egg case.
And with these insects, you have to consider the sins of the fathers.
Even if they die, the eggs will still hatch out. So they could be like sitting there, and if you put that in a bag, they actually will hatch out and you would see 30, 40 babies hatch out.
Cockroaches, a bit like bats, come out at night.
I think these have been a bit dosed up with the poison I've used, because usually they run straight away once the light gets on them. They run to the darkest area. They'll be in grooves, crevices, holes in the walls.
Their favourite spot is rather special.
Everything wants heat and warmth, and behind these motors here, it's lovely and warm. A bit better than it was before. We had them everywhere, running around. Got a bit of evidence here, down there, a couple of nymphs.
And there's another choice spot behind the washing machine.
Look down there. You can see more than anything, egg cases, couple there, dead ones there. Basically, it's telling me, as you can see the adults here, you can see them dying as well from the stuff I've used, from the spray. We've still got a bit of a infestation, but they're only nymphs. But all the adults are dying off. The eggs have hatched out, the nymphs are all running around. I think this is it, last treatment, I'm happy.
Spray them poison them, but
Do not, and I will say it again, do not step on a cockroach and kill them. You'll end up squashing the eggs, expanding the eggs all over the place, and then you'll just have more cockroaches everywhere.
the depressing thing about cockroaches is that they're not an endangered species. Keeping up standards in restaurant hygiene is a never-ending business. You need dedicated inspectors, and in Wolverhampton, two of the finest are Johnny and Faye. A few weeks ago, they visited this kebab shop and were far from impressed. Today, they're back and in no mood to compromise.
We will be making sure that sort of all the points on our letter, all the legal contraventions have now been attended to.
On their last visit, Faye found raw meat alongside cooked food.
Marco's told me that he's purchased this new fridge, because this wasn't here previously, to put raw food in.
Faye is determined to keep up standards.
This is not raw.
That's the chicken nuggets as
Yeah,
well.
but no, well, that's not. This isn't. So all of that could just go in here, and then you've got total separation. There isn't much cross-contamination going on, but if you've got a separate fridge, you might as well just use it all for raw and then put the ready-to-eat in these separate fridges. So that's what I was just explaining to him.
This was a problem last time.
We've got a container full of sort of festering water, which looks and smells pretty disgusting, really.
Today, the same area is spotless.
What I've seen is they've clearly made lots of efforts with the cleaning. The premises is now clean.
Last time, Faye was worried about the fridge.
This is probably one of the worst seals that I've seen.
It's been sorted out.
They've obviously replaced the seals, and they're currently keeping them in a clean condition, which is good to see.
And then there was the problem of the chopping boards.
As you can see, they're in an absolutely atrocious condition. So we've got some new chopping boards. Great, okay.
And the verdict?
I think they've spent a lot of time and effort on making sure that those efforts are addressed, which is obviously great. And it's good to see somebody taking it seriously.
We want to see that this continue in the future, and that will help, you know, raise our confidence in the management.
In Westminster, there's a very special street warden. She never takes no for an answer, and she's always up and at 'em. Jackie Deary.
I'm just going to stop and have a look at these two bags here.
Armed only with a notebook and a pen, Jackie is a tough prospect.
Give them a little kick, don't want any rats running out of them.
She's soon on the trail.
It's definitely household waste, and I've got some evidence already.
The fly tipper is not at home, but Jackie isn't put off that easily.
I've got my evidence. This person will be receiving a warning notice.
It's not in Jackie's nature to let sleeping dogs lie.
This is a Westminster customer. So they've put this bag out, and then somebody else has come along and just dropped their litter. So one bag has caused all this extra litter. I'm going to check to see if I can find out who the owner is. Oh, lovely.
Aha.
Right, so now I've got some evidence of where it comes from.
Many cases involve hardly any detective work.
Hello, I'm from Westminster City Council. I wondered if I may speak to the office manager, please, regarding your waste. Good morning. I wonder if I could just point this out to you. Do you see that grey bag there? I know you've put this out at the wrong time.
It was probably our cleaner, because she normally comes at weekends, and we've literally started yesterday. She started doing a shift on Wednesday night, so she's obviously put it out.
You could face a fine of £80, but I wanted to give you the option to bring it back in.
Okay.
Thank you for your assistance.
In Jackie's world, there's no such thing as a perfect street.
Right, we've got a bagged waste, TV monitor and a pallet.
You pick up ideas as you go along. Being nosy is part of it.
Do you know anything about this? Do you know where it's come from?
No.
A local firm or anything? No?
I've come here to buy a fridge, that's all.
Oh, OK. OK, thank you. Oh, right, I might go into the fridge place, actually.
And like a batsman, she follows through.
Do you not have any idea who that belongs to around there?
But with Jackie Deary, the game is never over.
It's on the corner of Boscobel Street.
Coming up, a smashing time in Dagenham. Jackie hits the fly tippers where it hurts.
I feel mean that I might have to find the National Health Service.
And litter picker Lou gets down to some needlework.
Some young kid gets hurt. It's bad on me.
Before taking his rightful place as a local celebrity.
Here he is.
Up and down the land, a little-known army of dedicated professionals are devoted to battling an ever-advancing tide of grime. Back in Dagenham, the clean team have decided there's nothing of value in the abandoned council house. Gary and Luke know what to do. This house is full of furniture, but can't be described as fully furnished. It's all got to go.
We'll try and get all the bulk stuff from like the settees and the beds and things like that first.
Out will go the furniture, then there's the video collection, not one but 2 microwave ovens, and all those televisions.
Wherever we go, it's either TVs or more electrical equipment.
TV. 3 so far, I think.
Oh, I reckon there's going to be around about 8 or 10. We found car radios and all sorts in the bottom of the cupboard. More.
That's number 6. Number 7.
And what is a loft for if it's not to hold even more rubbish?
It's absolutely full up with loads and loads of just clothes, books, loads of electronic equipment.
Specialist removers might do it differently. When the TV doesn't work, get another one. But to have 8?
More electrical.
You said there was a lot out there, I didn't expect this much.
Lofts can be bigger than you think.
Just sort of junk, basically. Instead of binning it, they'd stick it up in the loft.
The new tenants may restrict themselves to 2 or 3 televisions, but it'll be home.
All done.
And it could be years before another team has to carry out this task all over again. Wolverhampton, our litter picker, is becoming something of a celebrity.
It's only me!
Yes, it's litter picker Lou. But on an ordinary shift, there's nothing very glamorous about Lou's work.
We're always a bit concerned when we come down the woods of what you might find.
Woods provide cover for all sorts of activities.
Just having a general look round. Just keep your eyes open for needles, lads. Hold it, lads. Here we are. Here's the needles.
Needles means only one thing.
I mean, this area is like well known to be a drugs den.
While his team get to grips with the problem, Lou reports back.
Hello, Joanne. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. We're working in the woods at the moment. We've just come across a drugs den.
The size of that? It's a monster one. It reminds me of the needle they use for the horses.
The needles are a health hazard, and not only for Lou's team.
The school children walk through this wood on the way to school. Now, what's to stop them coming up this pathway and finding these and playing with needles? See that? That's so dangerous. You had a little kid running through here, just with his sandals on in the summer. You can hardly see it.
They're not only scattered on the ground.
I've found them sticking in trees before. Yeah, there's one. There's one there, look. I'll just pull that out. Look at that. Fancy that catching a young kid.
For Lou and his men, this is worse than usual.
Look how many needles we've got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's got to be 20 needles there.
Lou is worried.
We feel responsible now that we've got to find all these. If some young kid gets hurt and I haven't found all the needles, it's bad on me. I'd feel terrible.
And the deeper they dig, the more they find.
Whenever you move a leaf, you find a needle. How many do you reckon you put in, Sam, at the moment, roughly? There's at least 100 in there, minimum 100 needles at the moment.
Wolverhampton has a serious problem with illegal drugs.
Don't know what the answer is to stop it, apart from putting a policeman here and sit the policeman on this trunk and say, "Oi, go home." That's it, we've got about a bucket full here. We must have 150, 160 needles here, Sam. Easy.
This den's been cleared, but keeping the woods drug-free is going to be difficult. In Westminster, keen-eyed Jackie is back on the lookout.
Right, this waste here does look like it's a private contractor's.
There's private waste and public waste. Jackie treats them all the same.
Hello, sorry to trouble you. My name's Jackie Deary. Could I speak to the facilities manager about all your waste on the highway? Looks like it's come from your premises. Do you have a cleaner?
We do have a cleaner.
Are you aware that this has been out here?
No.
Because you can't have it on the highway, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah, can I come and take some details from you, please?
Jackie is as determined as ever.
You don't have any office manager at all?
It's all through head office.
I'll have to go through a few more bags to get a few more names then.
People don't rush forward to claim rubbish.
I'm just going to go and check through a few more bags because the office say that the building next door have had a clear out and that's owned by the National Health as well. So I just wanted to get an email address or a contact name to definitely prove that it's theirs.
Jackie will not be put off. This calls for a quick search and a quick decision.
Right, there's another bit as well. I don't know for what reason all this rubbish is out on the highway at the moment, but I'm going to take a photograph of it and I'm going to find them.
On this occasion, Jackie is judge and jury, and she tries to be fair.
Slightly disappointed that I feel mean that I might have to find the National Health Service, but, you know, we'll take one step at a time and they can appeal.
Litter picker Lou hasn't always enjoyed the limelight. His job isn't glamorous, but it's Christmas.
Warm enough?
All right, can you manage? Have a nice night.
And in Wolverhampton, Lou's become something of a celebrity. He's getting rather used to it.
Hello, Maureen.
Lou is a popular figure.
A lot of pans here tonight. How are you? Are you the pans as well? This is my young lady, my partner, Jill, my wife. Hello, Dave. How are you, old pal? Hey, here's me old mate, me old mucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, please, for Lou.
Ah, blow me down. He's the star of the show.
Has everybody seen this guy on the TV, yeah?
Cheers, me muckers.
A celebrity litter picker. And why not?
Are you ready?
Ready?
10! Louder! 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 4, 3, 2, 1! Merry Christmas! Woo! And there's the snow that we've got, everybody, which is excellent.
Have a wonderful Christmas. I'm going to. In fact, as you all know, I am teetotal, but I might get myself drunk Christmas. And what on? I'll tell ya, Lambrewski!
A year ago, this would not have happened. But he's not complaining.
What's my cameraman? Okay. I feel wonderful. I feel top of the world. I'm over the moon. I feel very, very honoured. That's lovely, laddie. That's fantastic. All right, this way. I've got to pick this up now, look. Can you pick all your litter up, please? That's what I'm here for.
Lou has become a hero partly because he really likes his job, and that's not something he aims to give up. Since filming the show, the NHS says it'll see it doesn't happen again. The council house in Dagenham is nearly ready for a family. It just needs a few doors. And for Lou, there's Christmas to look forward to.
Down here, Muppet!
All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grime Fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, a father teaches his son there's more to catching a mole than meets the eye.
Yeah. Look at that, eh? A good sense of achievement.
In Grimsby, estate agent Harp is told by the experts that the best tricks are the old tricks.
Ready? Yeah.
And beneath London, Rob and Dan discover that sewers are, well, sewers.
Smells delicious.
But first, in Grimsby, there's a house for rent, or there would be if it had been left in a proper condition. A local estate agent has been handed the problem. Meet Harp Chatter.
Basically what we're here to do today is have a look at the property, see what needs doing to actually regenerate it, and get some sort of idea and get on with the job and get the property relet.
Oh, that's not a good sign. Using a drill instead of a key.
Well, this obviously used to be a family bathroom. Now this is a dumping ground. You've got bin liners, various bottles of old alcohol, nappies. At some stage, I'm sure it's been used as a squat. Okay, this is the second part of the living room. As you can see there, the pipework's been taken from the gas fire.
Harp has seen it all before.
You know, in some ways you become sort of used to it. You know, it's, you know, you're going to rent houses, you know, people wreck them. You know, it's not everybody, but there are certain minorities. I mean, that was somebody's cooker at some stage. Not my type of pasta, but I'm sure it'll taste nice with a good bottle of red.
It's not just the mice that have got at this place.
Obviously, the kitchen units have been all torn down.
And it seems as if they've not been very choosy about what's been taken. They've taken pretty well everything.
All the pipework's gone, and that was obviously where a boiler was. So that is always the first port of call for any would-be thief.
It's a sad fact that one person's old pipes is someone else's business opportunity.
As you can see, as you walk along the landing, obviously they've taken the pipework out. Now that's been cut, obviously, with an instrument that a qualified plumber would use. I mean, so that's not like some, you know, child coming in or an adolescent, a teenager saying, let's get this pipework and make a quick buck. Somebody's come in, cut the pipework, and basically they're away.
The metal thieves have been at work all over the house.
Same again. I mean, as you can see, the pipework, look at that. So, nails stuck in the floorboard. Again, it's all been taken. Not a piece of copper left, actually, in the back bedroom. On the whole, just one big mess.
Harp comes to a simple conclusion. Nothing that's been left has any value.
We'll have a clearer idea once Daz and his boys get in and rip everything out, because then we have got the empty shell to actually, you know, have a look, ascertain what needs to be done, and then go from there.
It's a special moment for a father when a son thinks about following in his footsteps. For our old friend Dave the Verminator, that time has come for him and his son Matthew.
We're looking for the run where the mole travels.
Dave is going to teach his son not to make a mountain out of a molehill.
I've had a go before, but he's teaching me how to do it properly now. I enjoy it. It's good fun.
All that burrowing by moles can cause serious problems.
Right, see the runs going across there.
Just one of them traps. That.
Dave knows the enemy.
And you always want to spring it. If the mole comes along and misses it, then you've got another visit.
It's not the sort of thing you study at university.
You can pick up so much from books and people telling you, but once you start doing it, that's when you proper start learning. It's like learning to drive a car. You don't really learn until you get out there on your own, sort of thing. So. Right.
Dave, like any general, is an expert on terrain.
Don't look like there's many moles here, mainly because there's sheep stamping about all over it all the time. So, I mean, there's one down there, you see, there's just one. See the molehill? But what you want to look for is a fresh one.
New molehills are not the same as old molehills.
See, it was tipping down the rain till about 8 o'clock this morning. You see that ain't had a drop of rain on it. So you can tell that that's come up in the last couple of hours. Have a route around in there and see if you can find a run in that one.
Matthew finds it's not as easy as it looks.
It goes one way.
No, it can't only go one way.
Well, it can, because it is.
Dave lends a helping hand.
All right. Yep. See, he's running that way. And there.
Matthew's not always been impressed by his father's expertise.
I remember when I was a little kid going out doing moles and rats and that when I was little.
Matthew's future might lie in pest control, but it might not.
It's a good job, but I don't know whether I'd be able to take it on as a job or not in this day and age.
Right, onward. See if you can find the next one.
Dave is secretly flattered that his son might want to follow him.
I've never pushed him. It's up to him. If he wants to do it, then he'll make his own mind up.
And you know, Matthew might make it.
What did you do?
We found a post. There you go. We're getting there then.
Dave decides that what they really need is a bit of competition.
We've got to remember who put which traps in, so we know who's caught what. All right?
Yeah.
Back in Grimsby, estate agent Harp has called in the extreme cleaners, Darren, Steve and Sean.
You won't be getting much of a bath in there, would you? Absolute state. It stinks as well, all food waste. And obviously the toilets get nice and clean for you. Not.
It's the old question. Who could live in a place like this?
Some of them I've met, some people that live like this have actually, you know, they've still been living in the property when we've had to clear it. And to be honest with you, they are pretty decent, nice people. You'd meet them and they wouldn't actually think they're living in anything wrong. They were just living it and it's part of their life. Some of it is down to drugs, some of it's laziness, some of it's illness. But a lot of people do live like this, more than what you think. We come across it all the time.
For Darren and his team, the best that can be said is that it's an opportunity.
So at the end of the day, it is true where there's money. To be honest with you, the worse it is, more money we make. Simple as that.
And time wasted is money lost. And there's still the smell of success.
There's definitely an odour of something coming up, so I don't know what it is yet. It'll either be rotten food or dead mouse or dead rat or something. Whatever it is, it's dead.
It looks as if the house has been turned upside down.
I reckon they've turned their kitchen into their bathroom in one easy step. All sorts in here. Microwave the lot.
Next door, Sean puts the boot in. There's no time for niceties.
Ready?
Yeah. I like it. Getting it all done in one foul swoop, that's nice.
Even the pasta is past its sell-by date. Steve is very partial to a good sandwich, and he knows what he likes.
Let's have a look what you got.
I've got cornflakes with tomato ketchup.
That is just disgusting. That's worse than the place we've just cleared out. In fact, I've seen it eat something out, the place we've just cleared out.
Oh, nice. It's proper. What's up with you?
The lads have cleared out the rubbish. A lot more work will have to be done. Back in the Cotswolds, pest controller Dave is giving the second lesson of the day to his son Matthew, getting on top of insects.
It's the old friend cluster flies that come out in the autumn, overwinter in your roof spaces.
This is a new one for me.
If you think flies are just flies, you've not come across cluster flies.
You can see, once you start looking around, you see them? See, there's plenty all over the walls, all up under the purlins there.
The main problem about cluster flies is that they cluster.
There will be thousands of them up here. You're forever finding them in the window ledges and that sort of thing. So we'll give these a blast and clear them out for this year. It's a very concentrated insecticide, but you use very little of it. And then that spreads into all the voids, all the nooks and crannies, and then the first thing these will want to do is get out. We need doing again next year and the year after that and the year after that, but it's not too bad. Right, shall we do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Dave secures the loft hatch.
But just to make sure that not too many flies come in, we'll pop a bit of this tissue paper.
This has to be a team effort.
When I say go, fire the machine up. Go. Okay, that'll do. Oh, there's one coming through.
Yeah, there's a couple here that have come down from upstairs.
Their death throes remind Matthew of some of his moves on the dance floor.
Yeah, I like to break dance. On the odd occasion. Christmas parties and that.
The chemical affects the nervous system. That's why you get this spinning about and erratic behaviour. It just overloads the nervous system and that's it, they go down.
Father and son are bonding now, but it wasn't always so.
I must have been about 6. And we went for a family walk through Burford, and he came across a wasp nest, and he had me on his shoulders, got me down, and he hit the wasp's nest and darted off. And left me there, and I got stung.
It wasn't like that at all. It was in a willow tree, and I just poked it with my walking stick. I said, I reckon there's a wasp nest in there. I poked it with my stick, and it was, and a few came out, so I legged it. Well, he wasn't quick enough, so what can you do?
Oh, yeah.
It's the last flight of the cluster flies, and Dave knows the ending.
Oh, we feel terrible now. Look at them dying. There's a fair few coming out. The birds will love them.
Dave now turns his thoughts to the real battle of the day.
He's been done very well. We'll see what happens when it comes to the mole catching competition, but I'm sure he'll have had a couple of unlucky ones that will have gone into his traps.
Coming up, beneath London there's a bad case of blocked arteries. The sewers need a spruce up.
The message is, don't put your fat down the sewer.
Litter Pickaloo gets the lads going.
Just spread that over a little bit more, lads, just make it look a bit tidy.
And when father and son take to mole hunting, who will come out on top?
There's a lot of people that say, oh, poor little mole, but they'd soon bitch if it was digging up their lawn.
Up and down the land, a little-known army of dedicated professionals are devoted to battling an ever-advancing tide of grime. Beneath London, there's an engineering masterpiece. Miles and miles of sewers, all interconnected. Most of the time, the whole system needs no supervision. The force of gravity does the work, but that's not always enough. Fat is the main problem. It's up to Rob and Dan to deal with it.
Basically, the normal flow level is about just underneath here. So this fat comes down on the flow, and it's just like a magnet. It just fat attracts other fat. So it just builds up and up.
A fat build-up can quickly lead to serious consequences.
It's going to be coming up in your premises, so you can have feces or other effluent coming up in your back garden. It'll be flowing down the streets. It'll just basically be a mess.
Alright, Dan, watch your foot in, it's slippery, Dan.
There isn't a full blockage here yet, but it has to be tackled. If only people could be more careful about the fat they throw away.
It's not easy to get off. It's alright if you get the shovel behind it, but it's quite hard. Consistency, I suppose, nugget or nougat. The message is, bin it, don't block it, alright? Don't put your fat down the sewer. That's what it ends up like.
This may look a simple job, but it can be dangerous. And that's why the lads wear gas detectors.
You get gas pockets inside it. And that's one of the most dangerous things about cleaning it off, is that you can disturb the gas pockets and then release the gas into the atmosphere. It smells delicious.
Doing a grand job there, Dan.
But chopping away the fat is only the first part.
We can move all this fat, but we're just moving the problem further down as it all ends up at the treatment works on the screens.
Dan the grime fighter is not put off. This job has become his life.
I love my job, I wouldn't swap it for the world. I mean, this is one of the dirtier sides of it, but you get to see some fascinating architecture. I mean, the work that must have gone into building these sewers, the engineering for the time was obviously the best in the world. But this is just an abuse, really, of the system that we were left.
Rob and Dan, heroes of the deep. In Wolverhampton, our old friend Litterpicker Lou is not prepared to stand by and watch paint dry. Lou has to see that the pavement is cleared, but he wants to know how it happened.
What's the problem, John?
Well, a young couple the other night had a row and she threw a can of paint at him and it exploded and went all over my wall, all over the pavement.
Yeah. So you've rung the council up about the paint on the path and what have you.
That's right.
Let's go and have a look at it and see what we can have a do.
Removing paint isn't easy, but Lou knows his stuff.
Obviously, the path and that we'll try and clean. If I can't get it cleaned, I'll go back to my managers and get the graffiti machine down. Yeah. Now, it's still wet, ain't that paint is?
Yeah. Lou and the lads have used sand to soak up the mess, but it's only a start. And Lou is a hard man to satisfy.
Looking at this now, the paint hasn't dried off. So we scrape the old sand up. I'm going to put some fresh sand down. Then I'll get in touch with my bosses to try and get some the graffiti machine down here, which they've got all the chemicals and the heat and what have you, which will probably clean it up nice and properly. That'll be enough.
For Lou, this is a chance to demonstrate his leadership skills.
Just spread that over a little bit more, lads, just make it look a bit tidy.
It's not perfect, but Lou has done his best.
It's like watching paint dry, eh? Have a good one. I've got to get on.
In the Cotswolds, father and son are close to the reckoning. Who's won the mole trap contest?
Right, let's go see what we've got. There you go.
1-0 to Dad.
Right, one. Yeah, there's another one.
That's 2 for Dad.
We're not doing too bad.
That's good.
Now Dave shows why experience counts.
Yeah, double. Told you, see, more than one will use a travelling room. That was yours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Look at that, eh? A good sense of achievement, yeah. Yeah.
But Matthew is making a comeback.
It's definitely one of my ones. But look at that.
Oh. The proof comes when he's doing it on his own, see?
Dave checks the last trap.
Look at that.
The master strikes again.
Matthew's got 3, but what about Dad?
10, then 12. A dozen.
It's a dirty dozen.
That's not bad.
There's a lot of people that say, oh, poor little mole, but they'd soon bitch if it was digging up their lawn. Big hole, we'll bury him.
Matthew is trying to be thorough.
We're only burying some mould, we wouldn't bury a cat.
I know, but you don't want it to show, do you?
But has the son convinced the father?
Yeah, he'd be all right. Yeah, I say you never stop learning, but he's getting there. He'd be all right.
And has the father convinced the son?
If he wants to in the future, then the door's always open, you know.
Matthew has started on the long road to all-round successful pest control.
Right then, let's go do the rat bait. Right.
Under the streets of Westminster, Rob and Dan are still mining fat.
You're gonna stay here. You've got more on you than what you can cut off the wall.
But could there be a better way? It seems there just might be a different solution.
The last few years we've been playing around with bugs in the sewer system to help get rid of the fat. They get into the fat and just eat it, and they change it from a solid mass into a liquid, and then that washes away, you know, more easily.
But with or without the new bugs, it won't be long before the lads are back.
If you came back here in, say, another year, 18 months, it'll be more or less the same thing again, you know. That's a grand job, Dan. Yeah. Coming up!
The satisfaction they get from this job sometimes takes them by surprise.
If I'd have gone into the careers office at school 8 years ago and they said to me, in 8 years' time you'll be working in the sewers, I think if they hadn't have shown me the door, I'd have pushed them through it. But you never know, do you? It's one of them things.
Thanks to Rob and Dan, the sewers of Westminster are working smoothly again. Since the filming of the show, it now won't be long before the Grimsby house is back on the market. And pest controller Dave continues to take Matthew under his wing. A new career beckons. All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grime Fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, a tongue-twisting tale of fly tippers tripped up.
Hello, mate. Sorry to disturb you.
Sewer ace Joe is put under pressure.
Turn it down.
Down here, Pumpkin.
And litter picker Lou plays Father Christmas, but to no avail.
There you are, Glenn. Thank you. Oh, that ain't very nice, is it?
But first, a really simple job. A council property in Leicester has been vacated and must now be made ready for a new tenant. All that has to be done is for Environmental Health Officer Steve Joyce to give it a once-over. If only. If only. But it's not going to be that easy.
It's obviously somebody that's had an interest in videos, by the looks of it. And it also looks like it's been left like this for some time. The mice have had a good chew, so it's this. I would think, you know, there's a couple of months worth of nobody being in here to allow the mice to make all these little nests everywhere. You can see evidence down here. It's all got to go because it's all contaminated with mouse urine. It'll be everywhere. Nothing. We're not going to save anything in here.
Steve has to accept that this is a daunting task. It just keeps getting worse.
Every single available space full with boxes of video cassettes, even in here. You know, and the problem is behind all this, there's going to be mice everywhere. This is somebody's life work here. This big pile. The gentleman obviously didn't sleep in this room. He must have slept in the front room. There's nowhere else. There's nowhere to sit down even. This is the bathroom. Obviously you can't get into the bath because it's full of videotapes. There's a big leak on the ceiling here. That's been there for some time because it's the ceiling's dropped.
This room ought to have some kind of purpose. But what went on here?
There's a cooker down here. I don't know how you would cook in here because you can't get to anything. The only thing that gives it away is this, there's a fairly nice ordered pile of jars of food here. I presume they use the microwave to eat and cook food because there's no other, you can't get to anything else.
And kitchens, of course, usually mean abandoned food. The mice haven't gone hungry.
So let's add that. Yeah, there's droppings here. Yeah, there's droppings in the frying pan there. There's even a mouse trap at the back. This is a fairly classic hoarder type mentality where stuff's piled up. You know, this is absolutely the classic sort of thing we get. But no, it looks like the rest of the property, you know, just full of boxes of VCR tapes. You know, nobody can do anything to this property until we get all this stuff out.
So it's not going to be simple, but it can be solved. In Dagenham, the trouble is, if you've got an empty garage, it won't be empty for long. All that while street wardens rob and rob.
It's council garage block that we've just turned up to, and it's just fly tip. It's been fly tip. A lot of the garages are empty and derelict. They're waiting for demolition, but the kids are breaking into them, leaving them wide open. So it's easy for fly tip is they can come in. It looks like they're using the garage block. I mean, this looks like someone's had their kitchen made over. By the look of it, a lot of building waste in there and stuff like that. Got gas bottles, which if the kids set this alight, it just explode, and it's so dangerous.
This isn't casual fly tipping, this is the work of professionals. They do it for money, but they can be caught.
Oh, some nice bits and bobs here, all from one address. Got someone's final demand by the look of it. Here's a nice red letter. We'll go around to the address, find out who these people are and start prosecutions.
Is it a local job?
Hello mate, sorry to disturb you, from the Street Warden Service, Dagenham Council. Just a quick question, have you had any building works done recently?
No,
not at all.
We've only just moved here.
Yeah? How long ago?
About 3 months we've been here.
Is it? I'll tell you the reason why. We're just investigating an illegal dumping of rubbish over in a garage site over at Barking. We found all your details, or the details for this address.
You haven't? Really? Are you renting or you bought this place?
No, it's council property.
Is it
only just been moved here.
Right, okay.
We've had non-stop problems since the last people that were here before.
Right, sounds like
right. Yeah, it's no problem. We're not blaming you. It's just that we're trying to trace how this rubbish has been dumped. And obviously, first port of call is the address we've got. So, yeah. All right, mate. No worries. Thanks for your help. Anyway, cheers. Thanks.
Have a good day, mate.
The new tenant is clearly not the guilty party, but the lads are confident they'll get their man.
We'll keep all this evidence, we'll log it all, put it in evidence bags when we get back to the office. And then, yeah, it'll probably be an ongoing one, but we'll see what we can do.
Back in Leicester, a full-scale house clearance is about to get underway. And who better for the task than extreme cleaners Graham, Lee and David.
Right, you need to get in and everything needs to come out, yeah. Floor to ceiling, all the carpets out, everything, yeah.
Come on then, let's do it.
Let's do it, let's do it.
It's big and it's horrible. Nowhere is safe.
There's plenty of mouse droppings about and everything, but as long as there's no rats, I'm not really bothering myself.
Some people would give their eye teeth for this job.
You want a solar thing, eh?
Give it solar radio.
Oh,
All the flotsam and jetsam of a busy life. And some Indian films.
Half these videos has been taped on.
Yeah, it tapes Indian films or something.
Yeah. That's my cup of tea.
Do you like Bollywood, Dave? And wicked Bollywood is. You can't beat a bit of Bollywood.
Bollywood. This is just ridiculous. Why would you want this many blank tapes?
It's probably like his library of films here. He's labelled them all up so he knows what's what, dates on them, things like that.
It's just tons of mail order stuff that he's not even opened. Well, he probably has opened, but just put them away. It's just amazing. It's all like brand new.
A few hours later, and there's still a mountain to climb.
They ain't gonna get in there. Have a look in that next one. Have a look in there, Greg.
Oh my. Where do you start? It's more like a warehouse. Nice one, Lee.
And the knickknacks keep coming.
Kids mini disc player. Wicked, isn't it? It's just everything. Wow. Literally everything and anything.
Watches, everything's got watch. Everywhere you go, there's a watch. You wouldn't be late for work with that, would you?
Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock, but not this one.
It's not a real one, is it? Oh yeah, one. Hello.
Crime fighters are superheroes, and why not? Back in Dagenham, Rob and Rob face another fly-tipping tongue twister.
We've got obviously a fly tip. We've got a few bags. We're going to search it, see if we can get any evidence. Hopefully, if we get some evidence, we can find whoever's done it. And you see, mainly food waste. Most of the people you see have got no respect. Just dump it out on the street. So as soon as we can get it clear, the better.
How many fly tips can a fly tipper tip without being found out?
Oh, hang on. Local name and a local address. Got two different addresses, one for here and one for a local road, Hedgeman's Road, which is just that one over on there. So it's good news for us, because now we've got someone to tie it into obviously dumping all this rubbish.
What we do, Rob gets some photos, and then Rob can go and knock on their door, find out why it's been done and why they dumped it, see if there's a legitimate reason or any good excuse.
A cloud of suspicion falls on a nearby allotment.
Hello, sir. Basically, what's happened is we've been called down to a fly tip. That's occurred outside the gates. Oh, cool. We searched it, found some evidence linking to this place.
That's our secretary. He's a right stickler for all the rules and regulations.
I can
So
imagine.
he'd be the opposite of dumping things.
No, I'm not accusing him
So
at
the
all.
actual
But
bag was outside with that in it?
yeah, there's a couple of them.
Gotcha.
The Secretary of the Allotment Association, a suspect.
Hello there, sir. Basically, what happened earlier on, we called down a fly tip. Loads of some bags of stuff out there that had been ripped open. That was in it, along with another one.
Well, I don't know honestly how it got in.
Okay, all right, okay.
A couple of minutes.
Okay.
The Secretary is determined to prove his innocence and shows Rob exactly where he left his rubbish.
There's 3 bags here,
Right.
ready for me to take up the tip, and they vanished.
Oh, right, okay.
There's more rubbish stored in his office.
Fort Rocks, isn't it?
We've got up here. There's a paper ready to go up the
All
tip.
right, cool, no worries.
But can the Secretary help to find the real culprit?
All right, I've got another one in our van. Could you have a quick look at that?
The Secretary does know the name, but there's a hitch.
That bloke's been dead for 5 years.
Might be going around his house then.
Honest,
Okay.
he's been dead for 5 years.
All right, okay. Okay, no problem.
All right.
Yep, thank you very much.
There.
Thank you.
Cheers, matey.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All the best.
For Rob, this investigation is dying on its feet.
Just carry on with what we're doing and go and get some more.
Coming up, the lads in Leicester are still sorting out the Aladdin's cave.
I'm sick of boxes.
There's tension between Joe and Dan.
Down you did.
And after dark in London's West End, is it something in the water?
Smell that medieval smell.
Up and down the land, a little-known army of dedicated professionals are devoted to battling an ever-advancing tide of grime. Early morning in Twickenham are not so much a rugby game as a drain game. Joe and Danny are playing in the scrum. How to tackle this one? It's obvious. Blast it with water. A local fire hydrant is brought into action.
Daniel, ready? Yeah, go on, mate. Fill it up. This sort of time of year, we have to dump the water off every night because it's cold and the water can freeze in the tank. So we have to dump it off. And then basically, it doesn't take long to fill it up in the morning anyway.
Hero Joe knows his stuff.
Oh, damn. Come to look at you, Sue. Is that all right? OK, thank you.
Hey.
Lovely. What do you think, Dan? Should we jet it or rod it?
No, can we go for a bit of jetting? It looks pretty thick and nasty, doesn't it? So,
yeah, a
we
bit,
give it
like yourself.
Thanks, mate.
Hose it is. High-pressure water jetted into the drain usually does the trick.
Hey! Right, Dan, go on, mate.
But there's a risk. Turn the pressure too high and Bob's not your uncle. Look out, Joe.
Dan! Turn it down. All right. Down, you did.
Dan, left hand down a bit. Whoa there, Dan. Uh-oh. Too late.
Well, it's Danny turned the pressure up a little bit too high on the jet. I said to you, nice and slow down, but oh no, Danny, just straight up and cover me. I said, turn it just slowly.
It was. He said 1500.
It's like they're pouring it everywhere.
Joe the hero battles on.
A bit of water behind it and it will push all the paper along. Go on, Dad, plunge it, son.
And the try has been converted.
Looking good. Got there.
In Wolverhampton, when there's an enormous fly tip, there's only really one man who can answer the call. Our old friend, Litter Picker Lou.
Come on, lads, we've got this bit of a tip to do today. The gaffers have sent us down here. As you can see, it's probably more than one fly tip or one lorry has dropped all this off. It's the normal team, but they've sent Glyn with us today because there's quite a bit of rubbish here to shift. But we're grime fighters. We'll clear it. That's what I'm here. I love my job, don't I? Hey, this is what I'm here for. Come on, lads, let's get stuck in.
With Glyn, a good job is a finished job.
It's all the same. Just get it done out of the way. Move on to the next one.
Other members of the team are a little more enthusiastic.
It's better than what I used to do before, anyhow.
And what did Sam do before?
I was a baker, baking bread all night long.
But let's face it, crime fighting isn't everyone's cup of tea.
For the scrap metal. Come on, lads, let's enjoy the job. Let's have a bit of a laugh.
Lou wouldn't be Lou without a joke.
Rat! Keep still. It's only a puppet.
But is he a natural team player?
Go and have a go on that shovel, Gary. Oh, it's too hot for me. Oh, too hot, mate.
Lou's certainly a team leader.
Tell you what, these lads are lucky to have me. I'll tell you, if I wasn't here, nothing would get done. Just cast... Oh, well done, lads. All right, keep chucking it on. Them two chaps with the shovels deserve a medal. I'll tell you what, if it was in my power, I'd get them both the Blue Peter badge.
But the new boy won't be back next week.
Glyn, on Monday, you might as well go back with the other team, but I appreciate what you've done. Right, I do. I'm not taking the mick. And as for Sam, my team leader, top dog.
I am not team leader. Well, I am the team leader, but nobody takes any notice.
But if Sam's the team leader, what about Lou?
I just have to advise him. I'm like a consultant now.
There's only one Lou with a litter picker. Thank God there's no more like him.
Do you have any bath oils at all, Glyn, for home or not? You got enough, all right. Anybody here interested in these bath oils? They're no good to me. It's all right, you don't have to give me nothing for it, it's free. I'll tell you what, I've just found this little boat here. And because you've worked so well today, I'm going to give you that boat to take home. There you are, Glyn. Thank you. Oh, that ain't very nice, is it?
Even Lou can't win them all.
Come on, lad, let's get this mattress on.
But despite their differences, the team have won.
I'm so proud of what I've done today. Wolverhampton Council will be happy with it now.
In Leicester, here's a useful trick. Wrap up your troubles in an old kit bag. Then you've got to get rid of the bag.
When we get it through that gate, we just put it on there, then drag it across. Yeah. Right?
They've got a weight problem here.
Well, there's got to be a few tons in here, definitely.
How many video recorders do you need? Unless you wanted to record every single TV show on every channel.
It's just everywhere you go, look. Brand new. As you look. Right. I'm just sick of boxes.
Tissue, a tissue, they all fall down. And they keep falling down. For Lee, it doesn't make sense.
For somebody who hoards things, you wouldn't go out and buy sort of like 10 of everything. You know, so it probably has been used for storage at some time.
Perhaps the previous tenant ran a market stall.
So, brand new in the box.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
Nice suitcase for your grab.
Jobs are good, mate. How much?
For you, £5.
Gives a £5, I'll take it. Cheers, mate.
But no one is going to buy this lot. It's all going to the dump.
It's just heartbreaking, really. It's nice when it's all done, really.
Time to get down the tip and then get home. Probably have a couple of pints on it.
Another Saturday night in London's West End, and a busy night for Council Enforcement Officer Mitch Matthews Dublin.
That's what we like to see, everyone having a good time.
As the big Mr. Clean, Mitch is no stranger to grime and all manner of related crime.
What are you doing with those, my friend? You know you're not supposed to be selling these in Westminster.
I'm not selling.
Okay, I hope you're not selling, okay? This is the time where we see some of the negative sides of our nightlife. A few fisticuffs being thrown, a few fights, a lot of vomiting taking place.
Most of the problems come from the demon drink.
Just have a look at this chap who's on the ground there. Hello, mate. Have you had a little bit too much to drink? Yeah? Yeah, he's definitely out for it. He's completely pickled. And we'll be passing back around here again and making sure that all the characters around here are chilling out, making sure they all get themselves sorted.
A riot of rickshaws adds to Mitch's problems.
Pedicabs or rickshaws are unlicensed. They're a big concern for us, but you can imagine what could potentially happen if a vehicle was to hit one of them.
Rickshaws are comparatively new, but the biggest problem is an age-old one.
You can see already there's evidence here that urination has taken place. And you can smell that medieval smell that you get. We want a nice, cleaner, safer environment, and it starts with issues like this, because if you start urinating in the back alley, then it will attract other antisocial activity.
Telephone boxes have been replaced by mobile phones, for most things.
They're disused telephone boxes, known to be used by prostitutes and couples wanting somewhere to have a quick fumble, also as a public toilet as well. You can smell it, it's so in your face, it's really, really pungent here.
This despite the council's efforts to divert the issue.
We put these down on a Friday and a Saturday night, and this way we can keep a lot of the street urination down to a bare minimum.
Mitch begins the first phase of the operation.
If we could get this all cleared away ASAP.
But they will have to wait until the small hours before the flushers can come into their own.
All of this place is going to smell a bit like a Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, because the cleansing team that come down here, they spray a deodorizer and it smells of bubble gum and it will smell lovely.
And like for so many revellers, the mess of the night before is soon forgotten. Since filming, the Dagenham garage fly tipper has flown. The council house in Leicester has been refurbished and awaits a new tenant. And Lou, Joe and the rest of the grime fighters up and down the country continue a battle on our behalf.
All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the grime fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, property manager AJ gives his appraisal of a council flat.
You don't get worse than this.
For litter picker Lou, a burnt-out caravan fights back. Pest controller Dave takes aim, and sewage team Simon and Terry go back to school.
16, 15, 14, 13,
1, 2, 3.
12.
Leicester is the biggest city in the East Midlands with a population of over 280,000. As well as being the birthplace of Walker's Crisps and the legendary 70s rock band Shawaddy Waddy, Leicester has over 22,000 council properties available to its culturally diverse inhabitants. It's AJ's job to turn the council properties around and get them cleaned out and refurbished for rental again as quickly as possible after the occupants have left or in some cases been evicted. This morning, AJ's been called to one of the council's many bedsits, and the little information he has on the state of the property doesn't bode well.
We're at a bedsit and there's been an eviction. Now, obviously we don't know what to find in there.
What confronts AJ is a vision of total depravity. The whole flat is knee-high in rotting food, bottled urine and drug paraphernalia. It looks like the detritus has built up over years. How anyone could possibly live in this hell on earth is bewildering.
Looking at it, there's bags of feces, bottles of urine. It's disgusting. This place is, it's got needles in here as well, so obviously we're going to have to be careful. He's lived on takeaways all his life and porno mags. And it smells disgusting. It really is, it's really bad. Behind me there's, if you look over here, there's all full of bags. He's actually done it in the bags and in the bottles and it's all just piled up. This is extreme. Yeah, you don't get worse than this.
For AJ, this place is going to be a nightmare. Not only are there leaking bottles of urine stacked everywhere and hundreds of bags of disgusting horrors stashed in every room, the whole flat is littered with potentially lethal syringes. It's going to need a specialist team to clear it up.
The problem with this, my normal workmen weren't working here, but I'm having to get specialist cleaning, which costs the council a lot of money. We don't know what we're going to find underneath here. We'll probably find mice underneath here, there's going to be fleas underneath here. So it's like, watch this space, really.
It may be 1,000,000 miles away from a bedsit in Leicester, but the Cotswolds, one of England's most picturesque locations, has its own problems with unwelcome vermin. Dave has spent a career leading an offensive against the vast array of nature's pests. Today, he's been called out to a posh house near Stow-on-the-Wold to launch an attack on some unwelcome guests.
Well, this lady here's got some moles, making a mess of her lovely garden apparently, and we'll relieve her of them in the greenest way possible. It don't look that good, does it? You've got a nice chocolate box cottage, and then you've got the Battlers of Somme going off on the lawn.
The first thing that Dave needs to do is to identify where the moles are coming from.
They'll travel along there, along the fence line, and then they'll branch off into here, you see.
The mole's life underground is based around two kinds of runs, travelling runs and feeding runs. The key to success is to put a trap down a travelling run, which the mole community all use to get around.
Well, that's a classic travelling run. Runs along this fence line, and luckily I've got it this side, so if it's the other side, the sheep tend to tread on them and then they set the traps off. With these, you can get one that end, and you get another one that end. So, and moles do not get on. They fight like crazy, but they will use the same travelling runs. So it's not unusual to get a double catch in a travelling run.
As Dave sets the other traps, there's time to reflect on a pest controller's lot.
Yeah, I've been doing it a long time. It can be dangerous, anywhere can be dangerous, but it's just having a sense to know what you're doing and do it, you know, make sure you do it right. You don't go putting your fingers into a trap with a squirrel in it. You know, you might think that they're cuddly and fluffy, but people that only ever do it once, they'd never do it again. They'd soon learn what a squirrel's like then.
But just as Dave is heading off, it seems he's already got a result.
Well, I've been putting those traps in the rest of the area. Just as we were about to leave, this one's sprung off. So, and that's the culprit. As you can see, he didn't suffer, and that's the poor little thing that does all this digging. What's he been in? 5 minutes? It's as dead as pork. What's the alternative? Is it somebody going over and digging, spearing the ground with a fork and going through the back end of them, or pouring bleach down holes and things like that? At least with that, he didn't mean it, but he had to pay the price. The successful survive. If you're not, you don't make it. Ain't no welfare state out there.
Wolverhampton in the West Midlands is a shining example of the success that local councils are having in the war against grime. It's down to the tireless commitment from both management and the hundreds of operatives on the ground, relentlessly confronting litter, fly tips and illegally dumped rubbish and household goods that's really making the difference. The city's motto is "Out of the darkness cometh light." But for Lou, one of the city's proudest litter pickers, out of the darkness normally comes a load of rubbish to clear up on the early morning shift.
Obviously we're coming here to tidy up after they've left this overnight. This is supposed to be a recycle area. Funny piece of cardboard this is, but it's a car seat. But in this game, you never know what you might find.
The thing that really gets Lou and his partner Dave going is people's seeming inability to put the cardboard they bring down to the recycling point, the few more feet, actually into the bin.
There's room here to put cardboard. If you want to see me put a piece of cardboard in, I can put cardboard in. There's just no need for this. There you are, out. But we have to tidy it because they won't pick it up. The main cause of the problem with the rubbish here is people searching and looking to see if there's anything good they can salvage out of it. Where you've got people, you'll always get rubbish. So it'll keep me employed until I retire. As you can see, we started with an empty lorry this morning. It's now half full, and this is just the start of the day. Normally this is within the first half hour. They pay me, I enjoy it, it'll be clean and tidy, and perhaps one day they'll learn how to recycle properly.
In Leicester, AJ's specialist team has arrived to confront the junkies' deplorable bedsit. Before the boys enter, AJ eases them into the job.
There's a key for it. We've side text the property. Be careful that there's needles in the property. So do that first. And then there's obviously there's human feces and urine. So basically be careful.
For Dave and Rob, they've seen all this before, but a place like this is even shocking to the most hardened of extreme cleaners.
Very bad. Got to be one of the worst. It's human feces basically in bags.
You know, you don't get paid enough to do things like that. I don't know how people can live like that. It just puts you off eating when you get home, because all you're thinking about, or the smell sticks with you. You can have a shower or anything and you'll still smell that smell.
Rob estimates that there is about 3 tons of rubbish to come out of the flat. Not bad for a bedsit of some 500 square feet. But before they can do anything, they have to confront the problem of the hundreds of used needles discarded all over the flat. They're going to have to systematically sift through every item before they can start making a dent in the mountains of revolting rubbish. One false move and the boys could get pricked by a needle with potentially life-threatening consequences.
Well, we normally get the big stuff out, the big stuff, then work around to find the needles, because when it's like this, it's a nightmare to find the needles, but there is quite a few needles around. So. When you've been jabbed, you've got quite a long wait before you get the results, and it's a bit stressful.
It's the most nerve-wracking bit. You don't know what you're digging for.
Coming up in part 2, Rob and the boys get to grips with the bedsit. Dave meets some old friends. Lou finds some litter that won't fit in his van, and we're out with Terry and Simon in Dagenham, finding some lovely surprises in the sewers. Throughout the country, an army of professionals are continuing to dedicate their daily lives to waging war on the nation's grime. In Dagenham, southeast London, Terry and Simon, one of the council's most experienced sewage clearance teams, are starting yet another shift, keeping the borough's sewers running how they should be. First up is a lady with a blockage from a house to the main sewer in the road.
Oh, let's have a look. It's full of wipes again. My pet hate. They're using wipes and it's blocking the systems up. And in a minute, Terry's going to start playing with it. Can you tell whoever's running that water to stop it, please?
As Terry starts having a prod about, it's soon obvious to him the blockage is actually down in the outflow near the road.
It's going down that one.
Time to investigate further.
You got a shovel, Till? This is going to be the out that runs to the main. But people think I'm Hercules who can pick up.
Shovel it out?
No. So when I lift it a little bit, you can put the shovel under.
Oh, be a man and lift it.
Here, Till. Shovel there. Use that one.
So with the help of the spade and a couple of screwdrivers, they get the cover off. All they need to do now is unblock the outflow.
Till's going to see if the out's blocked, and if so, we're going to attempt to clear it with that rod.
That's it. There we go.
It smells like fine wine.
Yes, lovely.
Whew. You've got to stop eating them curries, they're really affecting it.
All seems to be running wonderfully now, but Terry just checks to make sure.
Yeah, all nice and clear.
Another job successfully completed, all because of people putting baby wipes down the loo which don't dissolve.
Who's our next customer today then?
Reed Road.
What we found at this place?
Yes.
Some other colours maybe.
Yes. Might be a bit of sweet corn to go with it.
Yeah, could have sweet corn?
Yeah.
In the Cotswolds, pest controller Dave has arrived at a local farm to check on some of his most cunning adversaries.
Well, it's a follow-up visit to this place here that got a rat problem. And it's one of those where I guess they drove up here one night and the headlights swung around and they suddenly realised how many they actually had. And they thought they better get something done about it. As you can see, they don't just live in garages, etc. They're quite good at burrowing. For the moment, I'll just turn over some of these holes, and then next time I make a visit, I can see which ones are opened up, or if they're opened up, we know what stage of the game we're at then.
In the country, rats can be a huge problem wherever grain is stored or fed to livestock. They may be enemy number one to Dave, but he has high regard for these mischievous little devils.
You have to have respect for them. I mean, they're not a stupid animal. They're very switched on. There's no doubt about that. They'll be around long after we've gone.
There's a saying in the city that you're never more than 10 feet away from a rat. In the country, perhaps, you should make that 3 or 4.
They're coming out the holes because I'm filling them in. There you go. Oh, yeah, they are. I told you they was clever.
As Dave waits for another, he spies a victim of the poison he laid on his last visit.
There we go. The poison is an anticoagulant, and it basically thins the blood to a degree where the slightest bruise, which would normally just bruise under the skin, just causes a hemorrhage that can't be controlled, and they bleed out. And as far as numbers are concerned, poisoning really is the only way of doing it. It has an additive to it called Bitrex, which is very, very bitter, but rodents can't detect the bitter flavour. Anything else would taste it and they wouldn't want to continue. It really is disgusting. I've tasted it.
After a quick replenishment of his bait stations in the silos with the deadly coated grain and the recovery of yet another victim, Dave reckons it's all gone rather well.
Got some bodies and saw some survivors, so, well, let the survivors survive all they can, and then we'll be back in a week or so, just check, make sure what's happening. That'll be it. Job done.
In Wolverhampton, Lou and Dave have been called away from their normal litter-picking duties to help out with an unusual discarded item.
They brought this caravan full of old tyres, rubber, the people have got to really pay to get rid of. So they've just dumped it here, set fire to it and run. But obviously we'll clear it up and go from there. We're just going to clear this traffic at the moment. Stop there. We just direct this bit of traffic and try and give us a bit of freedom. There was one gas bottle, which is over there. Obviously, the fire service have been here and they have said it's safe, so we can carry on. There's not a problem.
The fire brigade may have given the all clear, but Lou's about to find out that the caravan can always fight back.
Recycle it. Oh, see how dangerous? Yeah, no problem. Did you get that on camera? See how I fought it off? Obviously, I was watching you instead of watching what I was doing.
But in true Lou style, his brush with the tyre does nothing to quash his enthusiasm for the job.
This is it. You never know, there's a variety of work. There's always something different. It's never the same day twice.
The team makes short work of clearing all the rubbish from the caravan, and all that's left to do now is for the shell to be towed away, the road sweeper to do its work, and Lou to give the scene a final brush down. Another good result for Lou and the council's team. At the Junkies flat in Leicester, Rob and the boys have only been able to clear a path to work from, removing some 20 black bin liners of human excrement, rubbish, porn mags and bottles of urine from the sordid bedsit. But all their work doesn't seem to have made basically the slightest bit of difference.
Like you can see there's off the van load, it's not even making a dent in it. It's unbelievable. We're just bagging it and it just, like I say, it's not making a dent. We've not moved much space, as you can see. It's a mess in here. There's still a lot of work to do.
Working in these conditions, seemingly making no progress, with the ever-present threat of being pricked by a rogue needle, the job's already getting the lads down.
You come into places like this, you think to yourself, what's wrong with the person that's living here? Is there something wrong with them or what? Because to live like that, you just can't be right.
It's bad, obviously. You know, 10 minutes in there and you're heating, you know, you want to be sick, but kind of just come out for a quick breather and then dive straight back in again, and you're all right.
The smell just gets worse as you get deeper. It's just unbelievable. Everything's on the floor. It's horrible.
The boys are now looking up to a week to clean the bedsit properly. The question is, will they get the bedsit back to normality, and will AJ ever be able to let this flat again? For Terry and Simon, the sewage team in Dagenham, there's one more call to go on their roster. Sewage clearance is all about teamwork, but even trying to find the house doesn't bode well.
16, 15, 14, 13,
1, 2, 3,
12, 10,
4, 5,
11,
6, 7,
middle,
8,
this
9,
side.
right in front of me.
A plumber at number 9 has reported a blockage after fitting a new bathroom in the row of houses.
What it is, we've had a call where a lady's having a new toilet and that put in, and they found out they've got a blockage, and now we've got to investigate what way it's running so we can clear it.
Seems pretty simple, but Simon has immediately run into a problem.
His cover's up, so there should be another cover under this patio somewhere. So I'm now going to have to get a metal detector and ring Dave Evans to find out what he wants us to do, because these people are actually on holiday and we can't do anything unless we've got their permission.
Simon's got to call his boss, Dave Evans, because it's his final decision whether Simon can pull up the patio, but it seems Terry doesn't need it anyway.
Don't want to patio up.
Why, where's it saying it's running to then?
I'm saying it's running that way. Because I used my genius.
You didn't use your genius. You're
Yes, I did.
You say
Yes,
it's
I
running
did.
that way.
It's running that way.
If you're wrong...
Look, my years of experience is telling me it's running that way 110%.
It's now up to Terry to prove that both the plumber and Simon have got it all wrong.
The gentleman who's doing the new toilet, putting the new toilet in, is saying that it's running down to the other house. And I've lifted up the manhole cover and I've turned around and said, no, it's running the other way. Now I've got to make my point that I'm right and Simon's wrong, like he normally is.
So if Terry's years of experience are correct, this one must be blocked.
Oh dear, I am right again. It is running down that way.
Now it's just left to Simon to blame the plumber rather than eating humble pie.
Yeah, the plumber gave us wrong advice, as normal. So we've found out where it's going.
Again, Terry's intuition has paid off, and after all the arguing, a high-pressure hose in Terry's chosen outflow sorts the problem. One thing, though, they both agree on is that if it's not baby wipes, it's got to be congealed soap powder that blocks the system.
Right, when the soap powder, when you put it in the washing machine, it's hot. When it hits that pipe work at the back of the properties, it becomes cold. And that's what it turns out like. It goes back to its original form. And that is what blocks the pipes.
So Terry's years of experience on this occasion has paid off. Simon has surely learnt a thing or two today from the old master. Since the filming of the show, Dave has cleared the rats from the local farm, and the boys will be back in the coming days to complete the final deep clean of the Leicester flat. All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grime Fighters. On Grime Fighters tonight, Restaurant Inspector Andy discovers an unwanted guest.
Call your pest control.
Crime Prevention Officer Vicky hears from the public.
All you coppers are bent.
Environment Officer Dino helps with a murder investigation.
They've never found the murder weapons, which was a golf club and a knife. Maybe we'll find something, maybe we won't.
And Pest Controller Pete serves up a mouth-watering menu.
What we're going to use today, believe it or not, is prime gravy dog food, which works perfect for rats.
All over the UK, graffiti is one of the biggest problems for the nation's grime busters. Councils spend hundreds of millions of pounds trying all different ways to eradicate this scourge on our inner cities. For Darren and his graffiti removal team in Dagenham, southeast London, the fight is relentless. The daily grind of ridding the area of seemingly meaningless tags and scribbles is often interrupted to respond immediately to any graffiti that's deemed racist and offensive. Dagenham Council is rightly proud of its zero-tolerance approach and is committed to getting rid of this type of graffiti within 7 hours of it being reported. What makes matters worse is that on this call-out, the graffiti is outside a local school.
The main priorities are the racist and offensive materials that we get. Even if we're working on a job, we'll try and clear that job up quickly, leave that job and then deal with the racist and offensive straight away.
The first thing to do, as always, is locate the offending article.
We've got a rough idea where it is on paper. It's opposite the school.
It's not long before they find the graffiti adorning a traffic bollard.
We've found exactly what it is, and as you can see, it's not very nice at all. Not very nice indeed. So what we'll do is we'll get this cleared straight away because it is outside the school and I don't want it hanging around.
Darren has an array of chemicals at his disposal, but the first one applied doesn't get a result. Time to raise the game.
It's actually gone right into the plastic and stored itself inside the plastic. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try a stronger chemical, which is designed to go inside and draw it out.
But even the strongest chemicals aren't having the desired effect. Best to resort to the old-fashioned approach.
Well, as a last resort, what we've done here is we've just put just a thin coat of paint over the top to stop it grinning through. As you can see, it's covered it completely now. There's nothing there at all.
In Nottingham, Steve and Vicky, the community protection officers who patrol the city's centre, are also plagued by graffiti. Theirs is a very different tactic, using photographic evidence to try and catch the budding Banksies.
We take photos, we've got hundreds of different tags of graffiti, then basically we've got to actually catch this person in the act. And then if they have got anything in their folders or at home with these tags on, we can link it to what's on our database and then go forward with court proceedings.
It's a bit like a game really. They're out here trying to do this and not get caught, and we're out here trying to catch them. It's a pity they don't take their own advice, isn't it? That's probably aimed at us because they're aware of the fact that we patrol here. They're aware of the fact that we will be coming down to try and catch them. So it is a game, and with them writing things up there, I think it's just a message to us.
Wind up tactic.
But it just makes us want to catch them even more, to be honest.
Graffiti is just one of the myriad of offences that the CPOs deal with to keep the centre of the city of Nottingham free from littering, fly tipping and the legacy of antisocial behaviour and drug and alcohol abuse. Just on this morning alone, Steve and Vicky have already dealt with some illegally dumped rubbish, bust a girl for dropping a cigarette butt, recovered some needles, sorted out a car break-in and found time to help the odd person with directions. Time now to catch up with an old friend.
How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. Not
Doing
bad.
a good community job as always.
There's zero tolerance towards begging on the streets of Nottingham, but overnight, some like this guy have suddenly become buskers. That way, they can avoid being moved on.
Anyway, I love you and Lisa and have a very nice evening.
You too, take care of yourself.
Well, basically, he's a regular beggar throughout the city centre. Now he seems to have discovered the art of playing the little pipe, so because he can play an instrument, he will be classed as a busker, although we know the underlying alternatives are begging.
It's estimated that there are over 81 million rats living in the UK. That's 1.5 rats per head of the population. For pest controller Pete in Barking, keeping them under control is a continuous struggle. Today, Pete's come to some fishing lakes in Eastbrook, South London, a favourite hangout for his furry adversaries. To make matters more difficult, in this location, he can't use his normal arsenal of poisons and traps to deal with the problem.
We're at Eastbrook. We've got a contract here. We've got rats all round the lake. It's a nature reserve, so we've got to use a live catching trap and not killing traps like mouse traps or backbreakers or anything like that because of the wildlife. That's why we don't use poison. What we're going to use today, believe it or not, is prime gravy dog food, which works perfect for rats. The dog food actually goes inside the trap, and the smell of it, they just go and love it.
Pete is the first person to realise that rats are incredibly cunning and intelligent adversaries. To have a chance of trapping your rat, you have to know how and where he lives and all facets of his behaviour. So Pete's got a trick up his sleeve to help him detect what holes the rats are using.
What we've got here is ordinary flour. When I come to a hole and I want to make sure I've got activity going in and out, basically this is what I do. I tip the flour into my little sieve and then basically sieve it over the hole. And then when I come back to check my traps on the last thing at night, I walk round and I'll do this to a few holes and I should get footprints. If I've got footprints, then I know it's a good place to start placing my baits again.
But sometimes it's just good old detective work that Pete relies on as to where to set his traps.
There's a particular diggings going on here and the actual rat hole is there. If you look inside the hole, how well packed down it is.
This looks like a perfect place to set his trap, but there's other psychological issues to bear in mind when trying to catch the elusive rodents.
Rats are neophobic, which means basically once you alter their environment, they don't like it. It might take 2 to 3 weeks before they actually hit the trap, but sometimes I have come over here and caught them within the day.
Either way, Pete's hoping that the rats will fall foul of his diligent planning. Time will tell when he returns. If there's one way to try and keep our inner cities crime and grime free, it's constantly maintaining their appearance. Once buildings become abandoned and overgrown, very soon fly tipping, graffiti, soliciting and all other manner of antisocial behaviour takes place. These hotspots are often heralded by drug dealers' old trainers hanging off telephone lines. Stand under these long enough and someone will offer you drugs or mug you. In Nottingham, Dino and his Neighbourhood Environmental Action Team, or NEAT for short, makes it their daily job to clear these unsightly areas so the residents can feel more pride and also peace of mind living in the surrounding community.
We're in the Radford area today, and basically what we're going to do, we're going to try and clear up some of these grotto spots, cut these bushes down to stop cars and coming on late at night, drinking, doing a bit of drugs and obviously fly tipping, because as you can see there's a lot of rubbish out and about. Probably got the contents of somebody's garden, obviously a few conifer trees and stuff. There's no barriers or anything to come into the car park, so what they've done is just tipped it off here. Just try and make the area as nice as possible.
While Dino and the team get stuck in clearing the fly tips and pruning back the undergrowth, their progress is briefly interrupted by the police.
Not found anything as yet. Obviously we've just took the big bushes out at the front, so... Yeah, we took all the fencing away. We've not noticed Anything in particular? That was CID. There was a murder here in this vicinity 2 years ago on Boxing Day, and obviously she's seen us tidying up, and they've never found the murder weapons, which was a golf club and a knife. So obviously she's just saying to us now that all the bushes have been cut down. If we come across it, well, we give them a call at the local Nick. Who knows? Maybe we'll find something, maybe we won't.
Whether Dino will uncover the murder weapons remains to be seen, but it just goes to show how crime can escalate in these areas if they're left to deteriorate. In Dagenham, Darren and his graffiti removal team have just arrived at their last racist and offensive job of the day.
We're just going to have a look now in the flats, see what we can find anything.
It doesn't take long for Darren to find what he's looking for.
Right, as you can see here, there's some offensive material there that we're going to remove today, and also there's some there. It is offensive to people, and they don't really want to be seeing that on the wall, especially if you're walking by with your kids or something. You won't want to see that. The guys there are just getting themselves sorted out with their cables and that and chemical. We're going to apply some chemical to it, leave it to dwell for a little while, and then once the chemical's dwelled and took its time to sink in, then we'll jet it off hopefully, and it should come straight off. Right, well, what I'm going to do now is just to apply the chemical. Just get a base on there really. Cover the whole lot, and what it'll do is it'll draw the paint into the chemical and allow us to just jet it straight off. We've got a vast range of chemicals in the van, and we'll try the usual stuff, like our usual gel that we use. And if that doesn't clear it, then we'll go on to other chemicals, stronger or milder, depending on what the paint is itself. There's nothing we ain't found yet that we can that stumped us. We normally clear everything.
It's only a few minutes before the chemical starts to do its job.
Can you see it breaking down? It's actually breaking it all down now. All the paint is going into the gel. And that's just a signal for us now that we can actually clear it.
The high-pressure jet wash makes short work of the graffiti. It's obvious that the gels have made it a simple job to spray off. It's another very positive end to Darren and the team's day, keeping a constant vigil against offensive graffiti. Coming up in part 2, Steve and Vicky run into trouble policing the no drinking ban. Pete's hard work seems to get a result. Dino clears the shrubbery, keeping an eye out for the murder weapons. And we're out with restaurant inspector Andy in Leicester, discovering a few surprises.
We've got a live mouth under here.
Throughout the country, an army of professionals are continuing to dedicate their daily lives to waging war on the nation's grime. In Nottingham, community protection officers Steve and Vicky are continuing their patrol of the city centre, now enforcing the no drinking ban. It's an offence in Nottingham to drink alcohol in a public place. It causes littering, but most importantly, often leads to antisocial behaviour. Their first offender seems pretty happy to comply.
Hello.
Hiya,
there's no drinking in the city centre, I'm afraid. We're going to have to confiscate your drink off you.
But he's only happy to hand the can over after he's had one last very long drink.
There's no alcohol allowed in the city centre. It's a no alcohol designated area, so basically if we see anybody drinking alcohol, we'll confiscate it from them. I mean, this guy was great, really well-mannered. Couldn't have asked for a better person to confiscate from, really.
But perhaps Steve is a bit quick to judge the mood of the alleged illegal drinkers. Their next potential offender is a much more difficult nut to crack.
Excuse me, where are you going? Come here, mate.
Steve and Vicky have observed a guy drinking whiskey on the street, and it looked like he'd poured some of the alcohol into a young girl's soft drink. Right now, all the guy needs to do is stop and give his name and address to the officers, but this situation has the potential to escalate.
Up my face.
Stop swearing,
otherwise you're going to be...
Right, that's it, the police are going to be...
The CPOs are in constant contact with the police, so if a situation like this arises, they can call for backup immediately.
November Sierra 1428. Yes, I'm on the Market Square. I attempted an alcohol confiscation from a gentleman. He's emptied his bottle, thrown the bottle at my colleague, and now he's refusing to stop and give us details.
Did I throw the bottle
Is
at
there an officer available to come down and get the details?
You need to tell us, facts right. No, did I throw the bottle at you? You need to stop.
As Steve and Vicky wait for the police, it looks like this could be a lengthy standoff. At the nature reserve in Eastbrook, South London, Pete, Barking and Dagenham Council's pest controller, is back to do his regular evening rounds, checking the rat traps he's set and baited earlier in the morning.
Basically, I've just placed this trap earlier. I'm just going down to check it. It's a prime spot for rats.
But even after his meticulous preparation earlier in the day, this one's drawn a blank, a typical example of how cunning rats can be.
Rats are really funny. You know, you might not see one for about 2 hours, and then the next minute you might see 3 or 4.
Pete has taken an interest in pest control from an early age, but it's taken him a long time to secure the dream job he loves.
I've been doing this job for about 18 months now. I finally got into pest control when I worked at London Zoo. There's a bloke there who's doing pest control, and I got involved learning bits and pieces of him. Finally caught one. As I said, it's coming on in the evening. Rats are very temperamental. You can either have some curled up, laid back, frightened, get some skitsy, running around the cage and all that. 9 out of 10 they're quite calm. Try and not get bit. As you can see, he's come up from the water by the looks of it because he's soaking wet. I don't want to sort of go in there and put my fingers in there and get bit straight away. So what I do is I tend to reach in with a little stick just to lift this handle up. As you see, I lift the handle up slowly, reach in, pick it up, pull the rat out. As we can see. And here we have one rat.
The rat will be taken away by Pete and dispatched humanely. One thing's certain, Pete's going to need all his expertise, patience and experience if he's going to win the battle against the rodents at the lake. In Nottingham, Dino and his Neighbourhood Environmental Action Team, or NEAT for short, are making good progress clearing the undergrowth around a disused building in the Radford area of the city. It was a hotspot for drug users, soliciting and fly tippers who used the cover of the undergrowth to conduct their illegal activities. On Dino's crew today is John, a rookie, who's only been with the team for a couple of days.
It's alright, it's a bit different. I worked in a factory for 3.5 years. It's a job for the council as well. So you only work for the council, it's a job for life, isn't it?
This new job is a world away from John's other career as a professional wrestler.
4 years ago I got an opportunity to start training for it, so I trained for about a year and then I've been doing shows ever since. By a week I work for the council and at the weekend I'm wrestling.
One thing that John's sure to find working for the council is a wonderfully eclectic mix of great characters. He's sure to fit in well. One of the most well-known is Derek the litter picker.
You come to help us, have you?
I want somebody to help me.
Help you? In what way?
Any way they like.
You got any jokes for us, Stacey, or what?
No, not really. It's one big joke being here.
Derek is one of the cleansing operatives. Without people like Derek being on the ground force, obviously reporting all the fly tips and everything, we'd be lost. Well, I'll tell you what, your head's shining that much, it must be picking a lot up. What do you do, polish it every day?
Yes. I go to that barber's and have it cut.
Ah?
About 3 or 4 times a week.
I don't know how you can afford it.
I don't, it's free.
Hey?
It's free. One turn deserves another.
Well, what do you do in turn?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
Across town in Nottingham's city centre, more serious business is on the agenda. Steve and Vicky are still dealing with a rather stubborn alleged illegal drinker, and things are going nowhere.
Yeah,
And that's
if I
why we
offered you a
acted.
big enough bribe, yeah, right.
No, and I resent that, and that's why I'm going to challenge that comment right now.
Whatever. All you coppers are bent.
He's got no grounds to hear these views. I don't know where he's getting them from. Now he just wants to stick around to get on our nerves, basically.
Soon the deadlock is broken with the arrival of a policeman. All the guy's really achieved by this standoff is to alert himself in the future to Steve and Vicky's watchful eyes.
All it would have taken for him to was hand over the bottle and we would have taken his details, job done. But he's made this job a lot larger than what it needed to be.
One of the Grime Busters' jobs that directly affects us up and down the country is the diligent work of the restaurant inspectors who tirelessly uphold the cleanliness and food hygiene of thousands of food outlets and restaurants. In Leicester, Andy, one of the city's team of inspectors, has decided to make an annual routine visit to a local Indian restaurant. There are a myriad of things that Andy will be looking for, but the worst thing to find is rodents.
If we find a lot of things wrong, then we tend to go back and revisit. If we find a major thing wrong, for example, if we've got mice or no hot water, then we would have to think about closing them down.
Leicester City Council award the restaurants smiley faces. A big smile is fantastic, a grin is good, a blank expression is okay, but a frown is a problem. This restaurant had a blank expression last year. They're obviously hoping now to put a big smile on Andy's face.
It's going very well so far. I say there's some minor things wrong, but nothing major. But very pleased. So far it's looking good.
So after an hour of meticulous inspection, the restaurant seems to be greatly improved from last year. The owner may even be up for a coveted smiley face. But that is until Andy takes a quick look under a cabinet on his way out.
Yeah, it just needs a bit of a sweep under there. Oh no. I think we've got a problem.
What's that?
We've got a live mouse under here. Call your pest control. If it comes out, I'll hit it.
This is potentially the worst nightmare for the restaurant owner, even though it seems that the whole restaurant's hygiene is very good. The presence of rodents could result in the establishment being closed down.
Well, I hope we can keep them open, but live mice in the kitchen, it normally means that we have to close them, unfortunately, until they sort the problem out. Before I make a decision, I will speak to my line manager, my boss.
The discovery of this little mouse now heralds a huge mobilisation of everybody involved to sort the problem as quickly as possible. While Andy rings his boss for advice, the restaurant owner calls his pest controllers to deal with the emergency. Within minutes, the pest controllers arrive. Meantime, the offending mouse has disappeared. But after lengthy inspection by everybody, with no droppings found in the premises or any other evidence of mouse activity, the hole is plugged with wire wool and poison is laid down as a precaution. It seems that the problem is isolated to the one rogue mouse. Looks like the restaurant has escaped closure, but Andy will make weekly visits until he's sure the mouse has gone for good.
I don't think there's enough to close it down. There's no more droppings, and the only droppings are down there, so I think we can sort this out, by coming back on a regular basis.
That one mouse has unravelled all the restaurant's hard work to improve hygiene standards and made sure that the award of a smiley face still eludes them. This time, they'll have to make do with yet another blank expression. In Nottingham, Dino and the NEAT team have completed their work, clearing the fly tips and undergrowth surrounding the disused building. There's been no sign of the murder weapons the CID asked him to look out for, but with the team's hard work, now the residents can hopefully feel a bit more proud of their neighbourhood and a great deal safer, as there's no cover for teenagers to engage in antisocial behaviour. John the Apprentice seems to have done okay too.
Yeah, we're just coming towards the end now, and as you can see, it's nice and light again. There's no real areas for people to come and obviously do sexual activities, take drugs or drink in the area. So it's all nice and clear.
Since the filming of the show, Andy has returned to the restaurant on a weekly basis, and so far there's been no sign of any other mice, and Pete is slowly winning the battle against the rats at the lake.